did everything.
All set? Thanks, Ron. All right, I will call the December 2nd Select Board meeting to order. First item on the agenda tonight is the Pledge of Allegiance.
The email you sent me earlier this afternoon.
To the flag of the United States of America.
I do not.
Which stands,
wait, hold on.
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, tonight's meeting is being broadcast on RCTV as well as on Zoom. At 7:05, we will have public comment for any items not on the agenda. 7:15, we will have the town manager report. 7:20, community spotlight. 7:25, RCT contract update and potential vote. 8:10, discuss and vote on human rights resolution. 8:15, update from the ad hoc commemorative Establishment Committee, ACE, and my Mac is frozen, so I will steal Melissa's. After that, we will, at 8:30, there'll be a public hearing to discuss and vote on the change of manager or officers for the all-alcohol liquor license for Reading Veterans Association, DBA American Legion Post 62, located at 37 Ash Street. 8:40, vote to approve annual liquor licenses. 8:50, vote on submittal to Charter Amendments Home Rule Petition Article 9 of the 2025 subsequent town meeting to the legislator. 9 o'clock, discuss and vote on procedure for town manager evaluation. 9:10, discuss peer communities. 9:25, review 2026 meeting schedule. 9:35, select board liaison reports. 9:45, future agendas. 9:50, approve 2 sets of minutes. 9:55, a potential executive session to discuss potentially joining City of La Crosse First Oshkosh Corporation for fire truck pricing, and 10:05 executive session, purpose 2, to conduct strategy in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, town manager Matt Cornelis. And that's it. So first up, public comment. Anybody in the room? Nancy, you're first. My Mac is still spinning.
Nancy, Dr. Pearlstrait, and Precinct 1 meeting member. I'd like to formally ask this board to adopt and put in writing in your select board handbook the complete Robert Rules of Order that this board will follow. I believe it will make your meetings more efficient, and I believe this board could use those guardrails. So I'm asking that you adopt that and put it in writing in your handbook. Thank you.
Anybody else in the room? See nobody. Anybody on Zoom? Maddie, is it Maddie tonight?
Maddie, yep.
No hands on Zoom.
All righty, so we will move on then to town manager report. Matt, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I attended the tree lighting event last Sunday in the Common. It was a bit rainy. Snow would have been more festive, but oh well. It was still very successful. Special thanks to the Reading North Reading Chamber of Commerce again this year, the DPW, the facility staff, the volunteers, and all the local businesses that contributed and sponsored the event. And it was great to see so many children hanging around the fire, toasting marshmallows. It was a really festive event, and Santa made a special appearance. So always a good event in Reading. This Thursday, we have our annual Shop the Block event in downtown Reading, Thursday, December 4th, starting at 5, going to 9. So please come downtown, support the local businesses. It's a great place to do some early holiday shopping. It really does help our downtown businesses quite a bit, and it's just a festive event again right downtown. Reading will have its menorah lighting again this year. This year it'll be on Sunday, December 14th at 5 p.m. in the Common, and I hope everybody could come to this yearly event. I think this is the 4th year that we've put it on, that it's been put on in the Common. So again, that's December 14th at 5 p.m. And just a couple of business items. I recently met with Brian Kane, who's the executive director of the MBTA Advisory Board, and his staff. They actually came to Reading Town Hall, It was a very productive meeting. We're establishing a great relationship with them, and Reading's going to be very active in that board in the coming future. This meeting actually came at the same time when we got the news about the MBTA retracting the NOI for the turnback track, so it was quite an eventful MBTA day that day. And another business item, Sharon, Victor, Diane, Jane, and I recently met with our bonding rating company, Standard & Poor's Global, to discuss Reading's overall financial management in general, because we have borrowing coming up, as everybody knows, for the Killam and Recalc. We thought they may have a few concerns regarding the different town managers that have been here over the last 4 years and the turnover there. But we assured them that Sharon, Victor, and I have worked together for well over 10 years, and that Reading was in great hands. They seemed impressed with what was going on here and the way we're handling things. As a result, we were informed just late last week that we're going to maintain our AAA bond rating. That's great news as we go out to borrow for the Killam and also the Recalc. It'll get us better rates in the long run. And we're doing this at a time where we're hearing other cities and towns are actually being downgraded from their AAA status, but Reading is not. It's actually maintaining that status and in great shape. That's the top rating status, as people know. And just a reminder that tomorrow night we begin the select board budget meetings. Department heads will be here to present information on their departments and budget ideas and answer any questions. And that'll be continuing next Tuesday night as well, with the other half of the department heads coming then. So hopefully those interested in the FY27 budget will be able to attend or at least tune in. And that's what I have tonight.
All right, thanks, Matt. Jane, do you have anything?
Nope, not this evening. Thank you.
All righty. Any questions? Moving on to Community Spotlight.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So tonight I wanted to focus on a business spotlight and shine a spotlight on one of Reading's oldest businesses, and that's Harold's Chicken Pies. I recently saw that Harold celebrated its 10th anniversary of their Methuen store. And I remember what a big deal it was when they came to Methuen and opened a store in Methuen, and people were elated. And their history in Reading, of course, goes a lot back further than that, way back further to 1938, when Charles Harold started the business using his wife's chicken recipe. The Arsenault family began their relationship with Harold's in 1940 and still runs the business today. In Reading, Harold's has become a staple at community events. I've seen them at many events offering, free samples, handing out free samples of pies, which are always delicious. Currently, they have 6 locations and boast that they still use no preservatives, only fresh vegetables, non-processed chicken, and homemade gravy and crust. So if you're looking for some comfort food around the holiday seasons, please keep this Reading business in mind. And congrats to them on their nearly 90 years of success in Reading. That's quite a run. So I just thought it was an appropriate time of year to mention Harold's, even though they're not right downtown, they're on Main Street. So, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay.
All right, so 7:25, we will move on to the RCTV contract update and potential vote. Melissa or Matt? Yep.
Thank you. So I just have a little brief thing. Tonight that we have the final draft, which is version 20 of the RCTV grant agreement. And this document reflects 6 months of intensive work by the town staff, RCTV negotiation team, RCTV staff, their board, and myself. Over this period, we held approximately 15 meetings, I believe. From the outset, my primary objective was to repair and strengthen the relationship between RCTV and the town, while establishing a grant agreement that's clear, accountable, and positioned for long-term sustainability for both the town and RCTV. While I cannot speak for RCTV's board, I believe they shared in this commitment. So given the complexity of the agreement that most of us just received for the first time, maybe a couple hours ago, I'm going to recommend that tonight we go through it, discuss questions. I have a bulleted list of some changes, and then maybe vote after everyone has an opportunity to fully view it. I have to be honest, I haven't even read version 20 yet. So, I mean, I think the changes have gotten smaller and smaller over the last week or so, but I think that maybe if we just highlight the key changes and then give the board an opportunity to review it, ask questions, and then if there's any, questions, proposed adjustments or anything, they can go through Matt and Jane, and then we can vote in a week's time or so, if that's agreeable to everyone. So do you want me to go through some of the changes that we made?
I think that would be
Okay.
beneficial.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, absolutely.
The changes you're going over, or these changes you're going to mention are already agreed upon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I will say that I believe I'd say 95 to 98% of the changes, and if I'm wrong, board members, I know you're all here, were agreed upon between the negotiation group. I don't think there's, and maybe one or two things that were fully agreed upon are in the new agreement, but most things were talked out and agreed upon to work together and coming up what we have today. So I have bullets of just kind of some of the major changes, and I know most of the board is here. So if I go through these and I'm missing anything, I think you can have the opportunity to, point them out as well if I've missed them. So we've come up with an agreement to do an 18-month period with the optional of a 2-year renewal. 18 months is mainly because I think that it would be great for RCTV to get back on their fiscal year. Their fiscal year ends in June. So I think we'll give them the 18 months and then the optional 2-year renewal, which can be agreed upon by both parties.
18 months and then an additional 2 years?
Mm-hmm. Yep. If that, so that was one of the things we discussed a lot about in the effective dates and grant period section.
And the bullets you're going over are pretty much in the revised packet on the website that we just received,
absolutely.
right? Okay. Right, so this is nothing that's omitted from.
Oh, yeah. No, everything that I'm going to say is in version 20.
Okay.
Yep. Some additional commitments in section 4. The town has committed to seeking $100,000 annually from the PEG when we come up for negotiation on capital funding with Verizon and Comcast, and the Verizon negotiation will start in January. The town has noted in here that we would consider leasing municipal space to RCTV, but that will become subject to any laws that we have to follow as well. We put in there that RCTV must also pursue fundraising and grants themselves. RCTV does have to amend their articles of organization, which is part of Exhibit B. Then when we move on to Section 5, expanded restrictions and clarifications. Full description, no detailed. We detailed what PEG funds or what are PEG eligible operations in here to just clarify that. We did prohibit auxiliary media operations outside of the PEG mission. New initiatives must be reviewed with the town manager or select board liaison if PEG money is being used. Then we moved on to Section 10. In Section 10, it is the annual review and budget audit. In this section, RCTV must provide the town with their annual review, their annual attorney general report, any fundraising or grant activity report, a budget for the upcoming fiscal year, and throughout the year they will be submitting quarterly financials to the town manager. Section 11, which is the board of directors, which this section was only really wording. I don't think anything changed. It's still the same size board. They clarified that the 2 select board seats and the 1 school committee seats, which we've called town appointed directors, that may be illegal. That I think council did that. I don't think we actually did that. But those 3 seats can only be appointed and removed by those boards. So the 2 seats for select board can be appointed and removed by the select board, and the 1 seat for the school committee can be appointed and removed by the school committee. Let's see, Judy, we put clear definitions of core meetings and non-core meetings. Under our non-core meetings, we did add council of aging, which was not on the old agreement. We also added, if we could, the requirement to televise, maybe not necessarily live, but Killam School Building Committee and Reading Center for Active Living Committee while those projects are going on. Expanded conditions of remote and hybrid meeting changes. So we added some wording in there that helps RCTV if there was an instance that Zoom meetings went away, because that helps them be able to broadcast more meetings. So if the state were to take away that option from towns, then we've put some wording in there to cover them on that. There is a new section about equipment and cybersecurity, which was worked on with the town's IT director, I think the school's IT director as well, and RCTV. There is Exhibit C, which I actually haven't even seen, to be honest, a new one. So that's in this version tonight, and that's why I would like everyone to be able to look at this and review it. Section 14, we just asked for more clarification for them to keep PEG funds, not necessarily in separate bank accounts, but separate bookkeeping, just to keep things a little more clear. Because they do camps and fundraising, and if they had sponsorships or anything like that, we just want to have those books separate. We also added a new section on town recordings, which just formalized rules of ownership, retention, transfer, destruction notices. The town has a right to all of the recordings for any town meetings or boards and committees. We've asked that they keep them for a minimum of 6 years. And even if they were to destroy them at that time, we just ask for notification before that. Their insurance requirement hasn't changed. It didn't change? I didn't think so. Okay. That's the same. Section 18 was a new section that we added, which details a material breach. And it is pretty specific of misuse of funds, false information, failure to meeting programming standards. We've added some wording in there for a 21-day cure period. Section 18 was the section that both lawyers were going back and forth on for some time, but I think we've come to an agreement on what's in the current version. Section updated address. Yeah, there was an update on the address in section 19. In the exhibits, we only had, in the old agreement, I apologize. In the old agreement, we only had exhibit A and B. Now we have, I think, 4 A, B, and 5 A, B, C, D. Exhibit A is just a lot. It outlines where the PEG funds can be expended. It includes more detail about the high school teacher, the high school instructor that RCTV provides Reading High School. It kind of lays out what, I don't want to say the requirements, if PEG funds are available, what they will do with those funds for the instructor at the high school. We expanded the list of annual community events that we hope that they will be able to cover, and they will make most reasonable effort to do so. And if they are not able to do so, they will contact the town or whoever the person is that is running the event. Exhibit B, we talked about, was their articles of organization, which need to be updated. Exhibit C is new, and that was the technical and security procedures list that I mentioned earlier, and that was worked on with town IT, school IT, and RCTV. And Exhibit D was always there. That's the insurance requirements. So I think that's a quick summary of some of the high-level changes that we've made to it, the agreement. But I don't know if anyone has questions or.
I have a couple, but I guess I'll go to other board members if they have anything briefly on what Melissa mentioned before we open it up to RCTV themselves.
I just wanted to ask about the time frame, the 18 months and then adding the 2 years. Why would it not have been, for instance, 5 years?
5 years is actually not the norm in the industry.
Oh, okay.
It's really 3 years. So we came to 18 months because for me, this was kind of a sticking point for me when we were in discussions because of some historical issues. I felt this gave everyone a little bit of a, make sure everything's moving in the right direction with the opportunity at 18 months to come back to the table if we needed to. And I didn't want to make it 6 months because that doesn't help RCTV in a lot of ways, because if they go to hire or, fundraise or sponsorship, 6 months to tell people they only have a 6-month contract really isn't helpful. So 18 months in my mind was a way to make sure all the kinks have been worked out. And then that's why we added the optional 2-year renewal, because if there are no issues, I feel like it could be a quick vote of the select board and we move on. And they have additional 2 years.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Karen?
Yeah, I'm fine with, I did not have a chance to reread the stuff that came in today either, so that was last night. But to the point about the 18-month renewal and 2-year extension, does that align with the lease of the property where RCTV operates? Or how does it align?
I feel like
I believe it's exactly.
oh, well, that's even better than I thought.
I believe our lease is June.
3-year lease, yeah.
Yeah, so we're a second year into a 3-year lease. Yeah. Did I say that right?
But it's June, right?
It's June.
It ends in June, so we only have 6 months left on it, or do we have?
No, I think you have 18 months on it.
No, I
18
think
months.
I think it
Right,
aligns.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
So it does, having an 18-month renewal, it was a long process last time when you guys moved. Is it a fair assumption that it's not easy to move?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so that's just a concern with having that short because.
But wait, clarifying, you have 18 months left on the lease.
Right.
Yes, so it actually lines up perfectly.
No, you have to, they were looking for the new location at least a year in advance.
Oh, I understand. Yes, I understand
they
that,
would-
but the whole would it,
Yeah, it's, so what we don't, since we're a government entity and our government depends on these folks, we want to make sure that we don't, we would have to decide long before 18 months is up, whether we're gonna do the 2-year renewal.
yeah, and I think it's fair to say that we'd come back I think we started, how many months before, did we start early? Yeah, I think it was, you'd probably start
It was
having.
May or June of this year is when. Yeah.
So,
Well, we started the negotiation, we started in May, however, the contract expired at the end of June, and then we extended it to 6 months.
Yeah.
and so you were locked in a lease. I don't know if you know now, but maybe for the next meeting, we could know. What is their landlord expecting, how much notice in advance?
That's fair.
And to see whether 18 months makes sense from that perspective. And I like the idea of a check-in, even if it's not an extension, a check-in, and then a 2-year extension is fine to be more standard with what their other terms are doing. And then I have some other little comments on what I've already seen, but I can wait if we want to just stick on this topic.
If you want to throw them out now, that's fine.
Yeah.
Sure. Quickly, I'm feeling like there's a disconnect of us going to advocate for $100,000 PEG funds. Your budget's far more than $100,000. What are the PEG
So
funds?
It's
the,
capital funding. It's
Yeah,
not
so
Oh,
pay
that's
funds.
just the capital
that's
funding.
additional.
PEG is only paying for capital.
No,
Hey,
Do you want
no, we
to
do.
just come up, Bob,
Yeah, do you wanna
just for the people at
clarify? Thank
home?
This doesn't count as my comment,
Oh,
right?
no, I got you.
Thanks.
Now it does.
I just wanna make sure there isn't a disconnect between the $100,000 I was.
Yeah, so there's
More
the
than that to run this operation.
PEG funds, which is typically what we use to run our annual budget on. But with that, there's typically when you renegotiate, there's a capital fund as well. That number has been more like 10, 15,000.
Thank you.
The 100,000 is not a requirement.
Yeah.
It's in there only as a,
Sure.
here's a number that we think we would like you to be asking for.
Sure. Okay.
Right. So, and we don't know if Verizon or anyone will go for that, but we think that's the right number to be asking for. So that's how it's in the contract. It's not a requirement. There's no penalty if it's less or anything. It's just kind of this is a goal that we would like to see.
All right, I mean, I'll read the contract again. I'm not sure that was clear to me. It's like PEG is PEG is PEG and versus PEG normal and PEG capital only.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to clarify that in there. Okay.
Yeah. And the capital fund, as you would imagine, new cameras, new equipment, right? So
Sure.
Equipment frequently breaks. We have to get new, we have to get updated, we have to get additional. And that's always a struggle when we have to do that, saying, well, where are we getting that money and
Yeah.
how are we doing that? So
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
that's where the capital comes in and helps us.
Okay. And then non-live meetings shall be recorded and made available to the public. I didn't see any, what I'd like is a little more specificity about, when they'll be available. I would not like the public to need to go and do PRRs to get access to a meeting if it's not live. And today, I'm under the assumption everything goes up on YouTube, but nothing like that is mentioned in here, so.
What
I
time
think-
frame do you think you'd want?
Oh, no, it's not even like the time frame, but it's right now, all the contract says is non-live meetings shall be recorded and made available to the public. It doesn't say anything else. There's no,
Reasonable, he doesn't, what do you think is
Oh.
reasonable to post?
couple days. Whatever you do now, 30 seconds, no. No, I mean, let me just guess, if you're staffed and maybe it's a couple days anyway.
So
Might be
I guess I would like to
Yeah,
have some pad in there,
yeah, sure,
right? I would think
sure.
within a week.
I think I'd just like to avoid the
Typically, we
public
do less than
having-
48 hours.
Yeah, okay.
Today,
well, Whatever's
right,
reasonable.
But there's always those snafus of,
Yeah.
there was a snowstorm, we
Yeah.
can't get the,
Yeah,
so.
no, my real point is that it just doesn't say in there, made available to the public doesn't say like, and you don't have to go
Yeah,
file a form and
that's a good
declare.
point.
So, find some mechanism.
To that point, Karen, I actually can expand on that because I was going to ask,
You have the floor, sorry.
well, go ahead.
And then, I do know that we have lots of meetings that aren't covered. I was thinking of the Eastern Gateway and the MBTA community meeting and, so 30 days seems reasonable on paper, and I don't know how much flexibility you have, because sometimes I don't think we get 30 days notice, but maybe we do. But I appreciate.
And by
that
all
it's
means, if something
recognized.
comes in sooner, we will try, right? But the more of the committal, right? I think that's
No, I
fair.
appreciate that in the contract, it does recognize that what we do now, and we're just codifying it, is that we're frequently coming to you and asking you, oh, this came up, will you help
Right.
us?
Right.
Thank you.
And if the meeting's a Zoom meeting, that's easy for us to cover, right? It's the ones that we have to send a camera person to.
Right.
That makes it difficult to staff sometimes, and
Right.
right, and that's why we need the advance warning so we can. I just found out tonight you're looking at the cameraman for the manure lighting.
And Zoom meetings, are we agreeing as a town that, so, because again, are we saying when if it's a Zoom meeting where you're not staffing it, but you're running it, you're setting it, you're making it go? Because
They're
like
not-
staffing's always an issue,
I
that's
don't
true.
think they're running it.
Yeah,
They'll,
we don't run the meetings, but we will be monitoring them. and being able to get the Zoom access to publish it. So
I mean, it's still always gonna be a staff issue if there's not enough time.
With Zoom, it becomes more of a technical issue. We can only cover 4 like live meetings a night just with the equipment that we have.
Okay.
So once it goes beyond that, we don't have the actual equipment to cover more than 4 meetings at a time. But as far as a Zoom, it's always being monitored. Someone's always watching it in case something were to go down, that we can message someone, that we can let somebody know your mics are turned on. We need, like things of that nature.
So the model then is, let's say Monday through Thursday, generally your model is it's staffed and somebody can supervise multiple Zoom meetings up to what the equipment can handle. That's the model. That's what you have to staff for, yes? So one person could be monitoring 4 meetings or 6
Yes.
or whatever we get to for now.
and also we cover an awful lot of weekend events as well.
You do.
Yeah.
Yep. So staffing. Okay, thank you. Thank you for reading that.
I have a follow-up, Bob. Sorry.
Bob, you can just stay.
Speaking of weekend meetings, did the tree lighting get covered, do you know?
It did not.
It did not. All right. So I guess my next question would be to follow up on what Karen said, and hopefully I can simplify the live meeting, Zoom meeting scenario that's transpiring. What I would like to see in the contract is that every single meeting that the town records on Zoom, that RCTV will upload that to YouTube within 72 hours. Just upload the video that the town already recorded, which means they already did the heavy lifting. I'll give you an example. CPA last night was recorded. Typically, you have to public record request it from Laura to get it. I'm sure we can finagle something around that to make exception for RCTV going forward, so it's not this long drawn-out process. But every single Zoom meeting that's done by the town should be uploaded to RCTV's website. You don't have to monitor, and you can do a couple extra meetings like they were mentioning. But every single meeting that the town still has the Zoom capability of, I'd like to see on there. They don't do all the meetings on Zoom either, just so you know, so it's not like 52 meetings a week or something. But whatever the town has actually covered gets uploaded within 72 hours. So this way here, it's on RCTV's page on YouTube, and then you can run it through the programming on the television, whatever, cycle some stuff out so things aren't repeating over and over again. I think that would be the easiest in all of this. It's a simple 5 minutes. Laura, I need CPA from the other night. She doesn't give it to you for a week, then it's on her. It's not on you. As long as you request it within 72 hours, I would think that that's manageable. The file size is like 300 megs. It takes 2 seconds to upload on YouTube. You name it and you're done. And I think that they could be done on Fridays when there's no meetings going on. Unless people take off Fridays, then, you guys run the way that you want to run. So that's my kind of thought on the core meetings versus non-core, like still obviously doing select board and all that live, how it is, Rob operating the camera and all that. But any meeting on Zoom, there's no reason why, until Maura Healy or whomever gets rid of it, there's no reason why it shouldn't be uploaded.
And I think that's a good request. I think I'd probably prefer a you push instead of us pull. You made a comment of as long as we ask for it within 72 hours. I would like to try to set up a structure that it's automatically sent to us.
Yeah, true. We have to hash out however.
I just feel it's another opportunity for failure of us not knowing a meeting's going on and asking for it. So.
Did you have something?
Yeah, just a clarifying question on that. Do we know how many boards and committees even do that? I don't even think I know that.
It's only a handful of board of committees actually still do Zoom stuff. So last night was, 5 or 6 meetings, Matt, Jane, something like that? I think maybe 1 or 2 was on Zoom.
Yeah, some do, some don't. Like the zoning board is meeting next door. They're generally not on Zoom, so they don't have a Zoom.
But that's live. Rob's doing both of them right now.
But Rob's doing it. But yeah.
So Phil just mentioned that we should be able to just set it up so that Laura can log it into our YouTube page. Right. So
I could see it. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
we'll figure out details.
Okay.
We'll figure out details. But
But this is why, it's good to look over the contract now, just that I think that we absolutely could double the amount of videos that are up there with minimal lift because we have the remote participation. If it goes away, then all of this goes away, like, essentially. So then, in terms of sports as well, I know we cover football, ice hockey. I would like the opportunity for either field hockey, lacrosse, wherever RCTV's equipment already exists. So I'm not asking you to do outside of town hall or something. Wherever RCTV's equipment already exists, I'd like the opportunity for a parent or a volunteer, like that's how they do it with football or whatever, for lacrosse to be covered. You put it out there, we will give you a 2-day course or 2-day thing. Anybody this season want to do lacrosse? Nobody says anything, you're done. But I would like the opportunity for other sport events to be covered in town. And, we can put the burden on those other sports teams. And it would be, I wouldn't start going into the private organizations like SNL or anything like that. Any town-owned or, under the schools or something, put some guardrails on it so it's not a free-for-all. Do you think that sounds reasonable?
I think it sounds great, and I would love to do it. And we've potentially talked a handful of things around that so there's definitely willingness. It's a matter of the filming resources and getting that. It's definite willingness to investigate and try to figure out how to make that happen.
All right. And then I don't think I have any more questions for you, but I just have some comments on the items in the packet. So page 29 is the list of post-meeting steps and all of that. So I brought this up previously, but the way that it says the master power switch in the off position means the monitor's off, hard drive's off, camera's off, and the on-air switch is off. But then the switcher is displaying the main menu, which is displayed on the monitor, which you can't see because the master switch is off and the monitor's off. So this is convoluted and doesn't actually make sense. So I think that number 2, in theory, would have to be struck completely. So it's up here on the screen now. It just doesn't make sense when the monitor would be displaying what you're asking for the switcher to be displaying, and it can't because the monitor is technically off as the very first item under 1A. So not a big issue. It's just 1A conflicts with 2.
1A conflicts with 2, okay.
It's up on there.
Yeah, no, I got it.
And then page 34 in the packet, Maddie. So this goes over the locations where RCTV has, fiber set up at the PAC, the field house, and then we get to the press box. But I did not see any mention of the Burbank Ice Arena. Is there any permanent equipment over there? Phil or anybody else? There's no permanent equipment. So for those ice hockey games, that is equipment that's brought in, like the library scenario, or? Okay. Do you think that that is one of the location that should have, at least something mentioned in here? Because obviously, if you're at Burbank, it's more likely than not kids. So I think there should be some kind of checklist for that location. And then at the same token, I don't think that I saw the library or the school either there, unless I
The high
missed.
school's on there.
Is
It
it?
says RMHS Library at the top,
All right, so it's the,
right there.
Oh, the library's there too.
okay.
RMHS
yes.
Library, the public.
So it's not the public library is omitted from this? Am I?
Correct, yes.
All right, so I think that is another item that has to get added for a checklist of events.
Would all these be able to be covered under other remote locations?
I mean, I think that these ones are more prominent that have to be called out specific, like definitely the library. I mean, that's like a branch of the town for the most part. I wouldn't think that that counts as another location. To me, I would think other locations is you doing the Green Communities event out there covering something like that, or Veterans Day, or any one of these other kind of things, but not somewhere where cameras are going to be. The library, obviously, all the time, but Burbank for 4 months of the year, however long it's there. So I think those need a specific carve-out.
Clarify it as where a fiber drop is, where we can tap into the fiber, we will give you a procedural checklist.
Yes. I like that idea. Thank you, Angela.
Can I just get a clarifying question? I thought there was a fixed camera at Burbank. Am I incorrect?
It's a remote camera. It's not permanent.
Okay. I thought there was a fixed camera and then there was one that was brought in for hockey season. Am I incorrect in understanding this? And maybe it's not RCTV.
It's not RCTV.
Okay, and I could be completely wrong here, but I thought there was one fixed camera. No.
Yeah, typically we've brought in a remote camera and set it up.
Okay, just clarifying. Thank you.
So to that, how is the scoreboard displayed for ice hockey games then without an additional camera? Is that not using a camera, or how is it being done?
So up to this point, the staff that is currently employed at RCTV was not in charge of the ice hockey games. So that is something that we are in the process of looking into to get ready for the upcoming season. So we have had some staff changes, so we need to clarify a few of how things were done a year ago.
And when does hockey start? Because I saw they had like tryouts or something is upcoming. Is it like the middle of December, or what are we talking?
No one's reached out to us yet to record the game, so.
Typically, the athletic director reaches out to us with a schedule.
Okay. And you're confident you'll be ready if they reach out with, obviously, notice, not come today, but something reasonable? Or
Yes,
no?
we're currently working with a new IT person to work on everything and to get everything up and going to where we need it to be.
Okay. Oh, so it starts in January? Okay. All right, that's all that I had. Carlo, did you have anything?
Just a couple things. All right, thanks everyone for coming. I don't want to go over too much stuff because we're not going to vote tonight, but I guess on the fundraising aspect, what I thought I was going to see, other than the material breach, serious stuff, was some other mechanisms. Obviously, if you don't fundraise, that's at your detriment. But we have it in here that, you probably should fundraise, but there's been a lack of fundraising for the past several years. So I guess, not that we can make anyone do anything, but you're a nonprofit, so you should be fundraising at least quarterly, have some kind of event. So there's no mechanism in here that, if you don't fundraise, obviously that hurts you. But with PEG money that keeps on going down, I think fundraising should be a requirement. That's just my opinion. I forget which board member said it as far as the meetings. I understand the core meetings. I like what Chris's idea was about the Zoom meetings. That doesn't seem like a heavy lift. But we have a lot of annual events that have been traditionally filmed or live. And just like as far as the other night goes, my kids are much older now, so full disclosure, I don't go to the tree lighting like I used to when my kids were younger. Have we not ever filmed the tree lighting? Or is this something new we're not doing?
I think the last time we did the tree lighting was in 2015. And when we recorded it was never live.
It was never live, okay. And then 26.
We put it out as a crew call to our membership to see if anyone would record it, and no one responded to sign up for that event.
All right, so 2016 to present, it's never been filmed. And basically a staffing, a volunteer issue, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess if I could interrupt, Carla, was there a call out this year then for the tree lighting or whatever, how you mentioned, and no one was willing to record it for you?
All right, well, that's disappointing, but you know, that like, so I would like to see more things more rigid as far as what RCTV is going to film for our town events, our town day, our field day, all the big stuff. To me, the tree lighting is a big event. Veterans Day, like, to me, that should be required. And I know we can't put this in writing, but what I don't see in any of this, and I know we can't put it in here, but I don't see any aspects of a vision. We're supposed to be a leader of our peer communities, and our cable access station is not a leader by any means. So I don't see anywhere in this contract how we're going to go forward, how we're going to be more proactive, how we're going to do. I know you can't put that in writing, but there's no language in here talking about podcasts, talking about this is our commitment to do this. Not, oh, if we can't do it, you know, too bad. And there's an expectation of the town, in the schools and residents, of what they want to see. So I'd like to see that more firmed up. I'm really not happy with, okay, if we can do it, we do it, and if we can't do it, we can't do it. And there's a lot of other nitpicky stuff that I'm not going to get into, but I think, you know, covering more meetings, yes, especially the Zoom meetings. Chris knows more about the technical side. I wouldn't even know where to begin with those slides that were just up there on all that on-off stuff. But I think this contract was coming up regardless of what has transpired in the past several years. But what I don't see is how are we going to do better? What are we going to do different? And how are we going to be, you know, just make it like it used to be? I don't know if that's even the right word, but so I'm kind of disappointed in a lot of aspects of this. It did get tighter, but to me, if we sign this today, nothing has changed. Pretty much nothing's changed. And that's not what we wanted or what some of us mentioned. So I'll just leave it there. Thanks.
Melissa?
Carlo, I don't know if this is what you're talking about. Under Exhibit A, if you go to 1CI, it has a list of the annual community events that RCTV covers traditionally and will be in there. And it does, I'm not sure this covers exactly what you were talking about. So it lists a lot of the things you mentioned, and it also gives the opportunity for an event coordinator to reach out to RCTV to get the additional ones covered if they have the capacity to do so.
But they're not required.
They're not required, no.
That's my point.
Yep, no, we did not say required, and I think that was mainly because of staffing potentially being an issue.
So where in the packet is this called out? So I can't find it. I like your bullet points, but
it's in the exhibit.
Is it?
Exhibit A,
yeah.
1C, I believe.
Exhibit A1.
Yeah.
CI, I think.
CI.
It's definitely in here.
Yeah,
it's definitely.
it's right.
Yeah.
It's on the screen.
All right, so she has it up there.
Yeah, there you go.
So I guess as a board, why wasn't this tightened up? Why did we have to wish that RCTV is going to do this and hope they're going to do it? Not they will do it because they've been doing it for 15, 20 years. Since the Fall Street Fair has been an inception, I mean, I don't know what, I don't pay close enough attention to what's filmed live, what's recorded, but I know traditionally this community comes to a lot of events. Like here's a new one that may not have been filled, maybe Phil Angela class. What are we calling it? Winterfest? Winterfest. Huge success the past couple of years. Has RCTV been part of that?
Yes.
Yes. I don't think that's in here.
No.
So that's an example. That's an example of, there's one that I just caught now that has been filmed, but we're going to say next year they didn't do it. Okay. The next year they didn't do it. Okay. Like, when does it stop?
May I?
I think you just want to come up.
Can I be recognized next?
After
The chair recognizing members.
Yeah. Well, I recognized Melissa and then Carlo, and now Bob is speaking. I sure did.
So this paragraph was discussed 2-3 weeks long, just this paragraph, in great detail. So we've talked about staffing, and Carla, you just mentioned the Winter Fest. Yeah, you're right. We want to cover that, and we did. And whenever we can, we're gonna. However, there's an awful lot of resources. So, example, the tree lighting. We weren't able to get a volunteer, right? We don't want to be hung by that. We don't want to be found in breach of our agreement by that, right? So we have to have some faith that we want to cover this, and we're going to do what we can to cover it. But there's only so much instances we can put down. So we made a commitment of what are your required meetings and what are the additional you would like to. And we are committing to record and film and load all the required meetings. And we're going to do every best effort we can. And we're given any opportunity if a new meeting pops up and says, we'd like you to cover that. We set up the structure to request that, and we'll do what we can. Right? It's how we're going to be doing better. There is an awful lot of better in this contract by contract, but as you're saying, the vision, that's not contract type of material. That's come to our open house, the membership meeting in 2 weeks, and that's where you'll hear more about the vision. But that's not contract stuff. That's
Yeah, you're not wrong, right? That's why I said you can't put vision in a contract.
Yeah.
But if I'm an employee and I go to work and I'll just if I want to do it, I'll do it. If I don't want to do it, I won't do it. But I'm going to get paid either way. That's what you just said to me, basically.
I think what I'm trying to say is,
this is not directed at you, Bob, personally.
I understand. That's fine. However, we are committing to what you need us to do for our job, right? And we're doing that for our job. But then there's the additional that half of us are Ready in Town members. We want to cover this also. And just as an employee, when you go out for a social gathering afterwards, the employee's not required to do that, but they want to be there, right? So we want to participate and we want to do this, but we don't want to get fired over it, right? We don't want to get fired for not going out to the social event. So, we went through painstakingly what is required, and that's what we put down. And then we listed a whole bunch of, hey, here's an addition that have been historically covered, that if you're not going to cover it, we would like you to at least let us know. And, that was kind of felt to be fair. We are struggling with finances and staff. We are struggling with volunteers. We are trying to increase that. And as we increase that, we'll be able to cover more and more. But we don't want to be fired over we didn't get a volunteer for the Winter Festival or for the tree lighting.
It's not fired. There should be a set of expectations with any contract. With any contract. I wasn't involved in these negotiations, obviously. I read this for the first time the other day, then I read it again today. And like I said, I was disappointed, this is just me talking, that this didn't get tighter. It's almost exactly the same for the filming part of the meetings. Yes, there's more language in here, especially for the breach, all the protocols for the different locations. And I wasn't involved in the previous contract negotiations either. So again, this is just me talking, that why are other towns doing so much better than us? Why? The same amount of money.
Statistically, they're not. Statistically, we're the only one who's providing an instructor in the class, in the schools. Well, we're doing some pretty good stuff, right? So, yes, are they better? When do they have a teacher? When is the community cable station paying for an instructor in the classroom? This is 5 classrooms per semester that are sold out. They have to turn away students because they're so popular. Are they better than us? They have different priorities. We've got our priorities, and we think that they fit for Reading.
All set? Yeah. Karen?
Okay, one quick little thing that I forgot. Given our fiscal environment, I noticed that it was an option for free rent for RCTV was in the contract. I'm not gonna be able to get behind that. We have a budget, we have a PEG budget, we gotta live within our budget. And so I would like us to strongly consider not putting that in there.
So where is that? That doesn't make sense to me either.
It's a free rent or.
It says free rent
I would
or,
just cross it out.
and it was, I believe no matter what, Matt, correct me, it has to go through,
Procurement?
procurement. Am I right, Jane?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it, no matter
That's
what,
right.
it would have to go through procurement, so we did put it in there, but the reality is,
Okay, can we just take it out?
I can ask the negotiation committee.
Thank
I
you.
have a
All
list.
right, and thank you. And let me just thank everyone for all of the time and energy that went into this. I know it's a lot, so just, I want to thank that. And then, I am hearing, Carlo, that you want, lots of, I hear pride in the community in your last comment about Winterfest. But as a separate select board member and knowing we have to stay within our budget and also getting back to your point about fundraising. So let me just take Winterfest specifically. That's not a performance-oriented event, unlike some other things that people would be likely to watch. But I do see, for instance, last year, the Reading Post sent a photographer and they took some pictures and it looks like a fun time. So I might say, we might wanna, if we wanna put parameters, for instance, what's coming up is colonial chorus players, the Foundation Festival of Trees. You might not film a Festival of Trees, or a local media outlet might send a photographer or videographer to do that. Reading Community Concert Band or performances like at Veterans Day. Those to me seem like something that we should offer as a municipality. On the other hand, getting to your point about fundraising, if RCTV had the option to put yourselves or your students out for donations, for hire, for donations, the Reading Chamber of Commerce puts on Winterfest. If they want pictures, and you guys have a way to say, oh, we would love one of your great photographers or your videographers to come, we'll gladly donate the $100, $50 or whatever. And then you guys figure out the details. Like, I don't know if the kids, yeah, never mind. I don't know if your volunteers can have sandwiches reimbursed or anything, something, because they're dedicating their time and energy. They're all busy too, but that might be a way to help them do both things, like become a menu of offerings that also potentially helps you fundraise and also allows other events to be captured. All right, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I guess I had a follow-up to the space scenario that Karen had mentioned. So I don't like the free rent scenario either. But I know it got brought up 6 months ago-ish. Do we have any sort of lease how they have their equipment inside of Town Hall? Obviously, they are getting that for free, which is, I don't want to say acceptable to me, but obviously we're not doing other things with that space. You can't have a person in there. So it's not like it's the Pleasant Street Center taking the whole basement up and giving that for free. But doesn't there have to be something in there that their equipment is in that other room? There's got to be some sort of agreement on how that's allowed. It's using electricity, air conditioning, obviously in the summertime, but like something's going to be hashed out with that.
Yeah, currently that we don't have that, but it's something that, I think Ivrea even flagged during the negotiations, and something if we get a grant agreement we would move towards. It was never anything that was put into place, since RCTV has been here, though, so.
So I think maybe to Karen's point in striking something from the lease, we can maybe put something in that they're allowed 50 square feet inside town hall, or some scenario there where it's, that's what we'll vote on, to allow that to happen, because currently it's been given away for free.
RCTV only on the window of that.
I mean, no, because we still have all our IT stuff is in there, so all Kevin's stuff is in there. Did you have something else?
I think the clarifying, I don't think that Ivry would want that in our grant agreement. I think she would want it separate.
Yeah, exactly. A separate agreement, not in the grant.
So as long as something is done, though, because
yeah, no, for sure. I agree. We should, and that should be hashed out legally, and so that there's no misunderstanding and who has what, for sure.
Okay.
Just got one quick thing.
Yes.
One quick thing to Karen Herrick's point about the lease. She mentioned it before me, which was good. I think we need to know by tomorrow what your notice that you have to give to renew is, because that will help us decide how long your contract should be with an extension. Because typically, again, not yours, typically it's a 6-month notice to a year to renew. Yours could be 30 days, could be 60 days, could be 180. We need to know that, because the last thing I want to do is have you pay for rent that was someplace you're not going to be. So I think we need to know that by tomorrow, so we can continue on this contract. That'll be a clause in your lease when you have to give notice to renew. If there is no clause like that, call the landlord and say, is a 30-day notice suffice? Is a 60-day notice suffice? Because we have to match up whatever contract, if anything's agreed to that timeline. So you guys know to look for other space if you want to renew that space. I haven't seen that space. I don't know how big it is. I don't know if there's any equipment there. I don't know how much it is to move. Obviously, you went from a massive space, so I'm guessing, to a much smaller space on Main Street. So again, I think we need to know that. So in the next 7 to 10 days, it's easier to define, because the contract, 16 months, or was it 18 months? What was it? It's in there now. 18, sounds like a whole number, 1.5 years, but it could be 14 months. It could be 13 months, whatever works to line up with your lease, I think is the best.
Karen, you want to say something?
When I don't know what I want to say. I've got my head spinning.
So all good points.
All good points. All good points. Why do we need to know? Because I feel like we already talked about that it is already lined up.
No, the expiration is lined up, but so when you have a lease, not a residential, a commercial lease, 5-year lease, 3-year lease, usually there's a clause. Do you even have an option, guys? Is it a fixed term lease? I guess I should ask that. Do you have an option to renew? All right, so
why would we want to know that?
We're actually trying to protect them. I think Carla's trying to protect them.
Yeah, I don't. Let's say we do a year contract, right? Just a year contract, a renewal right now. We do it. We vote tonight, December 31st, 2026. The contract ends. They still have time on their lease. They still have to pay rent because they signed a lease.
Right. So
right. So I'm trying to find out when their notice, if they have to give a notice to leave. Like Karen mentioned earlier, we need negotiating time for that 2-year extension.
Okay.
Right. It's one thing leads to another. So the 1.5 leads to a potential 2-year extension. So they would need to know: are we staying where we are? Are we moving again? That's what they need to know. And they need to know that from us. Because if we're not going to give them a 2-year extension, why would they renew the lease? Or sign another lease. That's all.
He doesn't want them to be stuck on the hook paying rent for 6 months to a year when their contract didn't get renewed. That's essentially what it's coming down to.
Okay. But we should have some kind of an idea in the next 6 to 8 months, because that's a pretty, other than the 18 months, I think that's a pretty good time frame of knowing whether it's going great or it's it's not going great. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think everybody's really motivated in order to make it work, and all these discussions of fundraising, and, you know, it's a great place to start. So you go in thinking positively that in 8 months from now, things are going great and everything like that. So I think, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so to your point, I agree with you. So I think we need to put in the contract that at the 12-month mark, we need to discuss what we're doing for the extension. Like, we need to put a definitive timeline.
It may be.
A definitive timeline, not just open-ended. Oh, you know, and because we get caught up in our meetings, and summer comes and goes, and all of a sudden, oh, there's only 6 months left. So we need to put a definitive timeline, I think, and that's the direction you're going in, to say, as of January 1st, 2027, start the conversation, or sooner, are we going to give a 2-year extension or not? Or a 6-month extension, or whatever the case is. Because, right, Chris said, I don't want anyone to pay rent for a space they're not using.
I think that's the point of not really voting tonight on this, so they can add a couple tie-ups of loose ends on here that, you know, make sense for everybody.
So, not contract related, but when you state, Carlo, that other towns are doing better, or other cable, what is it that you think that they're doing better?
Just from their own websites, like doing podcasts, being more contemporary, you know, COVID changed everything for everybody, including cable access. But we're over 5 years out now, and it's kind of been phoning it in, basically, the past several years, in my opinion. Basically phoning it in.
I think it's important to remember that it's the public that will be doing the podcasts, and it's kind of, you can put the water out and the horse may not drink it. So you kind of somehow, I'm sure there can be kinds of open houses and lessons to teach people how to do a podcast, and kind of start that kind of an energy of encouraging everybody to do that. I don't think that that's necessarily they're lacking in what they're doing. I think it's a lack of town participation. Do you know what I mean? Like, they can give us all the services that they can, but if I'm not willing to step up and say, oh my God, I'd love to do a podcast, you know what I mean? Like, I think the publicity of this negotiations and all the hard work that went into it, that it can be very exciting and encouraging for people to get more involved. So I think that we can all do that. We can do a podcast together.
Yin and yang, yes.
Karen and Carlo, you know?
My microphone's off.
I can have a logo done by the end of the meeting. Okay, so rather than me spend 25 minutes answering Karen's question to Carlo, I will skip that. And I guess if there's Bob, did you have something?
Could you come up to the mic? But people are complaining that they can't hear the audience unless they come up. Sorry.
Is this public comment, Bob?
No.
Clarification.
So new news, Phil looked it up. Our contract is until for the 18 months from now, so it does end at the same time. Then we have the option to renew monthly after that.
Okay.
So it's the rate increases $50 a month, and we can renew monthly for the subsequent year.
Does it say in there, whatever paragraph you have, how much notice you have to give for that?
90 days notice to extend shall be forwarded to the leaser.
Okay, so that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So 90 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 months.
And if I can just comment about the podcast, which I thought was a little humorous, that the town's lawyer, wholly accidental, had some handful of words that would have made it not possible for us to do podcasts. That RCTV turned around and said, whoa, wait a minute. Well, it sure has been pointed out that podcasts are wanted. So I just found that ironic through our negotiations that it's fixed in the contract you have so that we can do podcasts, because we're hoping to do podcasts. It's a matter of, as Karen said, people wanting to do them. So we're ready to do it. And if anyone wants to do a podcast, we'd love to set you up.
Thanks, Bob. Anybody else from the board? Any quick comments before I open it up to the public? Any board members online or before I open it to the public, Patty, or?
No, I don't believe so.
All right, any public comment? Not Bob. Anybody online for public comment?
No hands are raised.
Kathy. Oh, Kathy, go ahead.
Kathy Crook, 137 Pleasant Street, and current president of the RCTV board, and negotiating to my resume. As Melissa mentioned, we spent a lot of time doing this, and personally, a lot of sleepless nights. And as a board, we are very committed to the residents of Reading, the government processes that we, I told myself I was going to write it down and I never did. We are very committed to this process, to this organization, and want every part of it to succeed. We've added lots of language into the contract that was not there in the last one. And you just get bleary-eyed, and I'm like, okay, it's black, and then, you let the attorneys have it, and, it gets colored and all this other stuff. I said, okay, what's black is what was original. And if you look at some of the lined stuff that we have, there's whole sections that are black, and there are whole sections that are brand new. We took to heart everything that has come before us in May and June, and are trying to address that all, and address that through the
grant agreement.
Yeah, the contract, and it's just, we are very committed to this. As a board, we've had multiple conversations over the past 6 months as well, not just the negotiations. So I just wanted to give that to you.
Thank you, Kathy. Anybody else? Phil?
Phil Rushworth, Millwood Road, Executive Director of RCTV. I prepared a couple things that I wanted to mention.
What I should have done.
I'd like to say that I'm fully committed to RCTV, and I look forward to addressing past issues and continuing to strengthen our service to the community. RCTV will continue to provide residents with access to training, equipment, and opportunities to create local programming. And if anyone would like to find out more about RCTV, we are having an open house, sorry for the shameless plug, on Tuesday, December 16th from 2:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and more information is available on our website. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else? Bob?
Sure.
Public comment, Bob. Yes.
I've been up here so much, my voice is finally not quivering.
His name and address, sorry.
Bob Beckman, Sunset Rock Lane. We're not perfect. We've got a long way to go. The board, the select board, 8 months ago, pointed out some very good things. We've gone through and addressed every single one. And I would say for the most of them, we've turned around and we said, we can accommodate, we can accommodate. We are working and trying to figure everything out. I do have to look at and say, for over 20 years, RCTV has serve this town and is part of this town. Again, when we compare to other people, we provide an instructor to the school. Is the select board ready to drop all those classes? We're probably talking 200 students. Are you ready to have 200 students without classes to go to in January? Right? This gets a little tough. The school board isn't able to, this is Bob's assumption, isn't able to accommodate an extra salary overnight. They certainly haven't planned for it. There's probably no one more qualified than our instructor. So I guess, does the select board really want to do that to our town? If you care for Reading, you gotta say, no, these are our kids and we need to take care of them. The RCTV board is very committed to continue improvement. We feel we have come an awful long way. Since those 6 months, we still have a ways to go, right? We are listening and we are conversing and trying to take care of everything we can for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Linda in the back.
Linda Snowdoxer, Beaver Road. I really wasn't going to say anything, but I really feel like it's important that a member of the public and a past member of the school committee stand up to say thank you to the RCTV team, the board. I found they go above and beyond as a volunteer in town. They have covered events so that not only those who can attend can participate and learn from them. They've enabled parents who can't fit into schools to see the assemblies and learn and be a part of the vibrance of our town. I really felt like I needed to stand up and say that. You've heard from others of the public, you've heard from students, you've heard from the schools about RCTV and the way they have facilitated what PEG requires, which is the collaboration and the communication and the uplifting of programs in town. So I appreciate, Melissa, I appreciate all the effort that's gone into negotiating. I know there was a big gap when you started. I also read the contract and I see a lot more change. I don't know where the observations of no change are coming from, truly, except maybe there were things that were expected and wanted that through the negotiations aren't necessarily in writing there. I have really appreciated RCTV bending over backwards and their volunteers bending over backwards to be there and get things ready in a timely fashion. And things have been added over the years. In the beginning, Martin Luther King Day event wasn't broadcast, but RCTV has lifted that up and enabled it to reach so many more people than the 500 to 600 that fit in that auditorium. And those people can read closed captions. So it's also approaching the accessibility issues that we have. I agreed with Karen. I read in the reports that people weren't asking to do podcasts, they were asking to do cooking shows, and then those people were no longer asking for that. So I just needed to say thank you for all the work and all the negotiations, and I really, truly hope that the vote is yes to keep RCTV such a vital part of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. 2 minutes, name and address, please.
Kate Goldlust, Spruce Road. And I just wanted to say RCTV has been a pretty integral part for our family personally. And it just kind of full circle after listening to tonight. My son started with the RCTV camps when he was in, I don't know, 5th or 6th grade, and got so much out of it that he he asked to be an intern. He wanted an 8th grade, and for a whole year volunteered his time. And since then, throughout his high school years, he's a senior now at the high school, has been one of those volunteers that when this call out goes up for somebody to film an event, if he can fit it in his crazy busy schedule, he is there, and he is committed to RCTV, and he is, like four of the upcoming events that you just all named, that aren't on that must-do list. He's there. Colonial players, community singers, all those will be filmed because he's a volunteer that stood up to say yes. And so I really think we need to continue to support RCTV to give our community members the chance to volunteer when they can. And he is actually taking the course with the instructor, the film production course, this semester, and is getting like an amazing skill set. He is going into film production for his major in college because of all the experience he's had and exposure he's had, and just I can see where that's always been his interest for many years, but he's getting to work with students who are getting to see what film and a TV studio and any kind of studio setup is like for the very first time, because our school has that capability right now, and I think it's priceless. And it is a unique opportunity if, as Bob Beckman said, that is a highlight for our town and for RCTV to be providing that. And it would be an incredible shame for that to go away. So thank you, RCTV, and thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room? Anybody online, Maddie?
No hands raised on Zoom.
Okie dokie. So we have a potential December 16th placeholder meeting. I don't think Melissa can do it. So we will see about piggybacking on maybe a budget meeting or holding a different meeting to bring this to a final vote. And if anyone has any additional concerns regarding the contract, because like I said, we just got the new one today. It's very hard to read. It's like looking at the charter thing again with the green, the blue, the reds. I don't want to say it's ridiculous, but I mean, it's the only ones who win are the lawyers. So I thank everyone's time. I think that nobody on this board wants to see RCTV go away, but at the same token, we want to see something not different, but perhaps like Carlo had mentioned, the way that it used to be. But I reference a Wire quote, but I will probably date myself with that. Great job.
I'll just get those changes or some
So everyone else
conversations between the negotiation team, Jane, Matt, and then we'll finalize.
So if anyone else has any board members, or obviously the RCTV board themselves, has anything they want to see added, clarified, you're going to do it in the next 48 hours or something. We can't let this go on any longer. So
thank you.
All right, thank you everyone for your time. We will then move on to the A10, discuss and vote on the human rights resolution, page 35 in the packet. And Karen, did you want to go over this?
Sure, Karen Herrick.
I don't think your mic's on.
Okay, so I'm happy to give just a little intro, and then I would hand it over to our secretary. No, thank you. You've done a fabulous job.
Just wait one sec for everyone. All set.
I'm so tall. Okay. December is Universal Human Rights Month. Time to promote fundamental rights and freedoms inherent to all people, and it culminates in Human Rights Day on December 10th, which is marks the 1948 adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights by the UN General Assembly. And looking at that declaration, It was powerful, but far too long for this format. So luckily, thanks to long-term volunteers, we actually have a resolution developed by Reading residents, and thank you, Linda Doxer, for pulling it out of your voluminous files of important things and bringing it to us. And we did need to run it by town council again, and we did that, and we reached out to our director, Albert Pless, and with their full support, we have a resolution, which I would be pleased to have the select board join me in adopting for December 2025 as Universal Human Rights Month and December 10th as Human Rights Day.
Human Rights Resolution. Whereas the strength of our nation is derived from its history of diversity and has enriched our communities with a variety of cultures, faiths, traditions, and viewpoints. And whereas Reading residents are committed to upholding human rights that ensure the well-being of all people in our community. And whereas our community believes in this nation's founding principle of religious freedom. And whereas our town was founded by immigrants and our own histories are shaped by the immigrant experience. We will continue to welcome new neighbors here wherever they may come from, then be it. Whereas the town of Reading welcomes and embraces all who live here, work here, are educated here, worship here, and visit here regardless of gender, race, color, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability, and be it further resolved that the Reading Select Board will continue to build trust with everyone in our community and will continue to work to ensure the safety and well-being of every person within our community, and be it further resolved that we are committed as a select board to advocating for all, engaging in partnerships and relationships that embody the principles of dignity and respect, and creating a culture of responsibility, and be it further resolved that we believe in the basic tenets of our political process. We argue, we campaign, we debate vigorously within Reading, but on the fundamental human rights protections discussed herein, we are entirely and enthusiastically united. We will fight discrimination and intolerance in all its forms. We are one town, and we will move forward together.
Thank you, Karen. Board members, any questions? Melissa?
Thank you. I want to say that I strongly support this, and thank you for bringing it forward. I just hope our entire board remembers this when Italian Heritage Month comes up again next year in October.
Good, sounds good to me.
I guess my only question on this would be that I was up until 30 seconds ago on the understanding that this was a day proclamation, not a month. At least that's what I heard from Jane. You had some conversations where that was brought up, or am I off the mark on this? I only bring it up because there's not a date, there's not a month, there's not anything in here, unlike previous ones that we've done. So is there a clarification on what this is and why it's omitted?
It can be either. I think it's the, our general commitment. I don't think we need to get hung up on things like that.
So as is fine with you?
Yep.
Okay.
And if we, in between now and next year, we develop a policy on these proclamations, and we could always update any of these proclamations that we've been doing the last 3 months to conform to whatever policy that is.
Melissa?
This is a resolution, not a proclamation. They are different.
Anybody from the public? Anybody online, Maggie?
Not seeing any hands on Zoom.
Okie dokie. Is there a motion, Karen?
Move that the select board approve the human rights resolution as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? 5-0. Thank you. All right, moving on to 8:15 update from Ad Hoc Commemoration Establishment Committee, ACE, page 39 in the packet. David is presenting. Do you have a Do you have a presentation or?
I was, excuse me, I was planning to give you an update on our work, let you know about the enthusiastic supporters we have here tonight, and also to ask you if the select board would extend our charge for another year. And so that's what my presentation will be about this evening.
Yep, yeah, that's fine. I don't think that it wasn't on the agenda, and that was going to be one of my questions as well about the charge. I thought we had done it in 24, which meant no matter what, we're missing the cutoff. But it's not on the agenda, so we can't go over that. But I hear what you're saying.
Okay, I appreciate it. So I'm David Monahan, Maple Ridge Road. The board's moving me to the Ad Hoc Commemoration Establishment Committee, also known as the ACE Committee or the Bill Russell Committee. And we're really pleased to report on the progress that we've made. We've continued to meet members of the public, tell them about our work, hear from them about how they're impacted and how they feel personally about our work. We've been making plans for programs in town that I'll share with you tonight. And as I said, we'll also be asking if this board would extend our committee. It's our understanding that our charge is to work through January of 2026. And as I'll explain, we feel like it would make sense to extend our work for another year. As I mentioned, we have several folks here tonight. We actually have, I believe, 7 people in the room who are not members of the committee, but who often attend and speak with us at public events and just care about the work that we're doing. And we also have a majority of the members of our committee here tonight. In addition to myself, we have Taylor Gregory, Ryan Johnstone, Eddie D, Colin Elliott, Monique Manaratnam, Arjanetta Nichols, and London Stiff Nichols. I don't think I missed anybody, did I? Just to remind you quickly about our charge, honor Bill Russell's legacy by striving to create the vision of an inclusive, equitable, and welcoming community, acknowledge and express accountability for the mistreatment of Bill Russell and his family in our town, and launch an annual commemoration of Mr. Russell that educates about and builds on the understanding of his vision and nurtures his legacy of improved civil rights. When I last reported to you on June 24th, I told you we had been at a few public events that we were excited about. Since then, we have attended the Fall Street Fair, Connected Reading event, and other events where we've had an opportunity to let the public know about our work. And we've had some really good conversations. People have shared their personal stories about how the issue of addressing Bill Russell's experience in our town is important to them as an opportunity to raise awareness about the inspiring leadership qualities Mr. Russell stood for and how that resonates with them and their ideas for how we can meet our mission. Next up, we are working with Albert Pless in the Office of Equity and Social Justice to participate in the MLK Day event at the high school on January 19th. And then we plan to announce 2 programs that we're excited about. There's a library event, a series that I'll share a little bit more in a few minutes about. That's going to begin on January 22nd. It involves actually 4 events. And then there's an award in Mr. Russell's honor that we're planning. And the purpose would be to recognize an individual in the town. So it could be a resident, it could be a student, it could be a business owner or an employee of the in the town who has made a significant impact on the community and exemplifies 6 pillars, jersey number 6, Bill Russell, of Mr. Russell's leadership, which include social justice, activism, education, leadership, community building, and mentorship. And then we also have recommendations going forward about a scholarship in honor of Mr. Russell with the Reading Scholarship Foundation, art opportunities in town where we might have different installations. They might be kind of grand, or they might be as simple as painting a transformer box. And then an archive, like a permanent space featuring Bill Russell in the library. I'm excited to tell you that we've had contact with the Russell family. Thank you to Albert and his office for acting as our main point of contact. He said encouraging communications with a member of the family who has appreciated our reaching out and who does want the opportunity to have some input with the committee on the plans the town is developing. This family member is juggling other commitments at the moment, as so many of us are, and so has asked if they can speak with us in more detail in February. Let me get to that request to extend the committee. Let me just give you kind of a rough timeline of things that we're planning. I mentioned this series at the library. So we have this nice logo that we have worked up. Game Changers media series of basketball legend and human rights icon Bill Russell investigated through discussions and film. So what we're planning is the first event, January, called Go Up for Glory. It's about a book where we would have a book discussion. The next event would be in March, and it would be watching a documentary film called Bill Russell, My Life, My Way. And then in May, we would have another book discussion, a book by Mr. Russell called Red and Me, about his relationship with Red Auerbach. We're hoping to do additional sessions that would be in September and November related to the work of Bill Russell. And what we envision is that I say that there are folks that are excited about our work, but we think that when we go to the library, we'll meet some new people who didn't know a darn thing about the work we were doing. We'll say, how can I sign up? How can I come to the meetings? So we're excited about that. I mentioned we'll be at the MLK Day event. We also would love to be at Juneteenth again, as we were last year. And we're also talking about several mechanisms to fund and manage the suggestions that we're talking about. And, we respectfully requested this board an extension so that we can oversee these activities in the coming year. And so that when we do sunset, we can kind of put a nice bow around a package that lets whomever have ownership and involvement in these activities going forward, which is what we envision, our mission to be, that something would be ongoing, but our committee won't be ongoing. I'm happy to answer any questions and really appreciate your attention.
Thank you, David. Board members, any questions? Karen.
Okay, I'm really excited. Thank you so much for all this hard work. I'm so excited about a permanent archive so that this doesn't have to be dug up when people say, oh, I didn't know about this, educate me. And I'm looking forward to the events, and I would support the extension. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Karen?
I want to say thank you for letting me attend your meetings. I've learned a ton, and they're all a great group of people, and they put in a lot of hard work, and it's a really great effort.
We appreciate that you've come to the meetings.
Melissa?
Yes, thank you so much. I met with Linda and Tara some time ago about this before, or when it was coming to vote with the select board. And, you guys have done a lot in that time. So I appreciate that. And I love the library series. I think that's a fabulous way to, get started. The only question I have, and it sounds like Albert has talked to a family member, and so maybe a misunderstanding, but is it okay to use his name in the library series before you have more conversations with the family member? I see that starting in January, and it's just, I just want to protect the committee and the town.
So I thank you for the question. We have started to scratch the surface of questions like that. And some of the answers are kind of legal answers, as far as like if we were selling something or announcing something on television with his name. Others are just like tactful questions, like if we were if the member of the family were here, would they appreciate that we have done something, without checking with them? We are definitely letting that family member know about these kind of events. Excuse me. We felt like it fell on the right side of the line, where we were announcing that folks can come to the library and talk about a book of, about Mr. Russell, and we've checked with the library about how they feel about it. So at the moment, we feel like we're on firm ground. Again, thank you for raising it. Any, permanent plans that we have, we intend to be respectful of kind of like the legal aspects of using his name and also how the family feels about the fact that we're using it and how we're using it, what the intention is.
Okay, great, fantastic. Thank you guys so much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Carlo?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, seems like you guys are doing a lot. I guess on your last point, has the committee discussed yet, when you said ownership, like what does the committee envision, whenever you sunset, 6 months from now, a year from now, what is the vision of, would it be just volunteers putting all these events, or what, did you guys have the discussion yet, or not yet?
We've started to have discussions about it. We don't have anything firm. We envision that there would be volunteers. It's conceivable that some people might be interested in some kind of like a public-private partnership, if there are aspects of it that will require funding going forward. We haven't really discussed the specifics at all, but we definitely don't want to leave it as an afterthought. We don't want to say, oh, we have these great ideas and, somebody else figure out all those things. So I'd say that's a big part of what we would like to be thinking about in the months ahead, because it is very important.
All set. Thank you, David. I think that it's good to see that Albert or whomever has reached out to the Russell family, because I don't want to equate it to what happened at town meeting with the snow shoveling bylaw, that we spent 3 years working on something only to find out the enforcement person on it isn't actually going to enforce it. So I would hate for, you guys to spend, now it's going to be 2 years, only to find out that Bill Russell's family wants nothing to do with us. It doesn't seem that that's the case, but I don't want to say I would hate for that to happen, but it's always an opportunity. It's always a possibility that it is. Because you did mention the scholarship, and obviously that's a semi-big-ish thing, you know what I mean, to be able to use his name for something like that. Do I think legally with the family, that's probably something you can get away with without lawyers being involved, because they're not giving you the money. I mean, they could, but but you would be raising funds in his name, and I understand you need to have some permission. But what I'm getting at, I think that we need a heavy focus, like you mentioned in February, to find out what the guardrails on this are, how comfortable they are moving forward with, you bring up 3 top things that you want to do and lay the 3 things out. And if they're no on all 3, you go back to the committee and see what the deal is and refine. But I think you definitely have to heavily focus in that February conversation, just to see where we're going to end up at the end.
I really appreciate that. Maybe this is inherent in what you're saying. Think of how much more important it is for our work. Snow shovels and snow plows don't have feelings and aren't known for a mission. And, the work that we're talking about is not just about doing the right thing and approaching it tactfully, but we'd really be defeating our purpose if we went ahead and did something at the risk of a family member or anyone else who feels deeply coming out and saying, I don't feel like you were sensitive to my input on it, right? So that's why we're triply focused on things like that, but I appreciate it.
So February is kind of confirmed for this, or how did you end up where that's the date you're gonna, I know you said they have multiple balls in the air, and I can literally have multiple balls in the air on this, but so how did we arrive at February? Is it just coinciding with something, or?
So let me clarify. I'm not sure if we're, I want to make sure the board understands. We're hoping you would extend us for a year.
Yes.
Yeah. I understand that the family member said to Albert, looking at my calendar, and I think I can get back to you in February.
Okay.
Yeah. It's through multiple conversations that was the date, that was the month that they said they were going to, but we're going to try to finalize a date.
And the outreach wasn't just a sentence or two, when we talked to you. There was some substantive communication.
They're aware of what we're doing. very detailed
Yeah.
about what we're doing. So the response and conversation was not just, oh, well, we'll just see what you guys are. They know exactly what we're working on here. So I think they've already drank the Kool-Aid.
Perfect. All right, anyone from the public? Anybody online, Maddie?
No hands raised.
All righty, David, thank you. We will add you to a future agenda, maybe piggyback on a budget meeting because we may or may not have a December 16th meeting.
Okay.
But we'll get you squared away.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 8:30, so a little behind, but a public hearing on discuss and vote on change of manager and change of officers for an all-alcohol liquor license for the Reading Veterans Association. So do we have someone here for that, Matt?
Yeah, somebody's here from the American Legion.
So I guess if you just want to go up the podium and introduce yourself.
It's a public hearing.
Sorry, yes.
Let me use my
Karen's,
real name? Not yet, sir.
so Karen's gonna read the public hearing notice.
Be invited.
You can still stand up there. But
You can stand up. They've heard from me too much today.
Yes, and we will continue. Wait till we get the little look of us.
Legal notice, Town of Reading. To the inhabitants of the Town of Reading, please take notice that the Select Board of the Town of Reading will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Select Board Meeting Room at Town Hall, 16 Lowell Street, Reading, Mass. Are also available remotely on Zoom to act on a change of manager and change of officers application for an annual all-alcohol club license located at 37 Ash Street, Reading, Mass. From Reading Veterans Association, DBA American Legion Post 62. A copy of the proposed documents regarding this topic will be in the Select Board packet on the website at www.readingma.gov. All interested parties are invited to attend the hearing in person or remotely via Zoom, or may submit their comments in writing or by email prior to 6 p.m. on December 2nd, 2025 to townmanager@readingma.gov by order of Matthew A. Cornelis, Esquire, Town Manager.
Thank you, Karen. And now you can once again stand up and proceed to the podium. This time for real. No takebacks.
I'm Brian McCormick, Main Street, Reading. I'm the commander at the American Legion. What else can I tell you?
I guess so. We are just changing the manager of the American Legion. That's essentially it.
Our last manager passed.
Oh,
unfortunately,
sorry to hear
he was
that.
there for 30, 40 years. But yeah, we have to move on. He won't order beer anymore.
Yes.
I
hear you. Perfect. So are you going to be the one taking over or somebody else?
Actually, Brendan Hoyt will be taking over. Brendan can't be here tonight, so he asked me to be here in his absence. But he's the applicant.
Okay. And everything checked out in the packet, Matt?
Yes. Yeah, everything looks fine. You know, it's just an accommodation to them. So.
Okie dokie.
His mother's been here for 100 years.
Yeah, we understand.
Would you just turn 102 or something? Honest to God. Still got all her pep, too. God bless him.
She's 103, I think.
Yeah, I lose track. I'm old. God bless him.
Definitely. All right. Anybody from the public have anything? Anybody online, Maddie?
No hands raised.
All right. Do you want to make a motion to close the hearing, Karen?
Move to close the public hearing regarding the change of manager and change of officers for the all-alcohol club liquor license for American Legion 62. Second.
Seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? 4-0. And then next motion.
Move to approve the change of manager and change of officers for the annual all-alcohol club liquor license for Reading Veterans Association, DBA American Legion 62, located at 37 Ash Street.
Second.
Second by Melissa. Any discussion? All those in favor? 4-0. Thank you. We appreciate it, and
You're all set.
Thank you for waiting.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, 8:40, vote to approve annual liquor licenses, page 64 in the packet. So this is the list that we have to do every single year.
We do it every year. We've gone out and done the inspections. It's the police department. Kevin McCarthy from Economic Development has joined on many of them. They all went fine, so this is the list of approvals, and it's up to you how you take them. I think we've taken them one by one in the motions in the past, but it's sometimes you can, yeah.
So I said Karen is going to be speaking a lot because I remember reading all of this.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how we do it.
Harken back to the days when it was a dry town. I was telling Kevin that earlier.
Before that, anybody from the public have any questions? Anyone on Zoom, Maddie?
No hands are raised.
All right, Karen, good luck.
So just to clarify, I'm moving before each and every one, or am I reading it exactly as it is on my motion?
So the way that it would be, so package stores moved at the select board and then read all of those.
Okay.
And then for the club, same scenario. Yep.
Move that the select board renew the all alcohol package store liquor licenses for Nilcont 350 Inc., DBA City Wine Spirits and Smoke Shop, 345 Main Street, Raksha Inc., DBA Square Liquors, 13 High Street, J and Ricky Inc., DBA Reading Liquors, 214 Main Street, Anastasi Brookline Inc., DBA Reading Fine Wine and Spirits, 25 Walkersburg Drive, Kajal and Kevin, LLC, DBA Liquor Junction, 1 General Way, for a term expiring December 31st, 2026, subject to the following conditions. All bylaws, rules, and regulations of the town of Reading and of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts shall be followed, and subject to a satisfactory inspection of the establishment by the town manager or his designee.
Second.
Second by Melissa. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? 5-0. Next.
Move that the select board renew the all alcohol club liquor licenses for Meadowbrook Golf Club Corp. of Reading, Mass., DBA Meadowbrook Golf Club at 292 Grove Street, Home Building Corp., DBA Knights of Columbus at 11 Sanborn Street, for a term expiring December 31st, 2026, subject to the following conditions. All bylaws, rules, and regulations of the town of Reading and of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts shall be followed, and subject to a satisfactory inspection of the establishment by the town manager or his designee.
Second.
Seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? Seeing none.
Did you see the veterans? You said?
No, they're under Veterans Club. They're next.
Oh. Okay, sorry. No.
All those in favor? 5-0. Next.
Move that the select board renew the all alcohol veteran club liquor license for Reading Veterans Association Inc., DBA American Legion Post 62 at 37 Ash Street, for a term expiring December 31st, 2026, subject to the following conditions. All bylaws, rules, and regulations of the town of Reading and of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts shall be followed, and subject to a satisfactory inspection of the establishment by the town manager or his designee.
Second.
Seconded by Melissa. Is there some confusion or?
No, in the packet, it's veterans under all alcohol club. That's why I asked the question. So
I believe there is a specific Veterans Club one, so.
that's fine. I just.
If not, we can undo it and redo it at a subsequent one. But I believe when we've done it in the past, I've made the same call out as well. So seconded by Melissa. Any discussion on that one? Seeing none. All those in favor? 5-0. Next.
Move that the select board renew the all alcohol restaurant liquor licenses for Florida Coal Fired Pizza LLC, DBA Anthony's Coal Fired Pizza at 48 Walkersburg Drive, Mecom Inc., DBA Cafe Capri at 355 Main Street, CAC Foods Inc., DBA Venetian Moon Restaurant at 680 Main Street,
Pepper Dining Inc., CBA Chili's Grill and Bar at 70 Walkersbrook Drive. HJB Restaurant Company LLC, DBA Fuddruckers at 50 Walkersbrook Drive. Rare Hospitality International Inc., DBA Longhorn Steakhouse at 39 Walkersbrook Drive. Boston Foods Inc., DBA Zucca Italian Restaurant and Bar at 601 Main Street. The V1 Incorp., DBA Public Kitchen at 530 Main Street. KOK Inc., DBA Boys at 26 Walkersbrook Drive. Bistro Concepts Inc., DBA Fusilli's Cucina at 107 Main Street. RKR Corporation, DBA Bunratty Tavern at 620-622 Main Street. Mandarin Redding Inc., DBA Mandarin Redding Restaurant at 296 Salem Street. Redding Foods LLC, DBA Half and Half at 607 Main Street. Park LLC, DBA Post 1917 at 136 Haven Street. Champions Indoor Golf V Inc., DBA Champions Indoor Golf at 1 General Way, Unit 90. Redding Forno LLC, DBA Toscana Forno at 45 Walkersbrook Drive, for a term expiring December 31, 2026, subject to the following conditions. All bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Town of Reading and of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts shall be followed and subject to a satisfactory inspection of the establishment by the town manager or his designee.
Second.
Seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? 5-0.
Move that the Select Board renew the wine and malt restaurant liquor license for Palatat Patina Swan, DBA Hancock Spice Thai Restaurant at 76 Haven Street, for a term expiring December 31, 2026, subject to the following conditions. All bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Town of Reading and of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts shall be followed, and subject to a satisfactory inspection of the establishment by the town manager or his designee.
Second.
Seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0.
Move that the Select Board renew the Farmer Distillery Pouring Liquor License for New England Barrel Company LLC, DBA New England Barrel Company at 1 General Way, Unit 40, for a term expiring December 31, 2026, subject to the following conditions. All bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Town of Reading and of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts shall be followed, and subject to a satisfactory inspection of the establishment by the town manager or his designee.
Second.
Seconded by Melissa. Any discussion?
I have a question, Matt. Technical question. So 1 General Way Liquor Junction, I'm a frequent flyer there. But I don't understand, I don't see that there's a different company actually operating there.
It hasn't opened yet.
It's not Liquor Junction.
It's not Liquor Junction. They came to us like a year ago.
Right.
It's not open yet.
I think they are operating down there.
I haven't seen anything operating, that's why
Yeah,
I was so confused.
they are in there. They haven't had much tasting to the public, though. No, they do other things there, and they have another facility somewhere as well. So, because I did ask when the owner was in here recently, and they are there. So, and they did come in, and we did go down there and inspect it. So.
Thank you for asking. Thank you for the follow-up.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if the public's really seeing anything changing, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Sure, thanks.
I didn't think that they were open either.
Yeah, they say they are.
I guess.
People do no storefront.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's mostly like a backroom operation, and I don't know that they've done any real tastings down there, but they are in there. So.
He was supposed to take like 6,000 square feet or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more events.
Whatever. I walk to Market Basket all the time. There's no storefront.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. Well,
he's paying the money, so prove it.
Yep. Any other discussion? That was seconded by Melissa. All those in favor? 5-0. And is that it? Yep. You're it. Good job, Karen. Appreciate it.
Excellent.
All right, so moving on to 850, vote on submittal of charter amendment, home rule petition, Article 9 of subsequent town meeting, page 65 in the packet. So we were all there. Essentially, that's that. I guess that we have to send this over. And that's pretty much it, Matt.
Yeah, once it's voted on, I'll send it to the legislature and they'll act on it as a home rule petition and hopefully get to it soon, so.
Perfect. Any discussion? Anyone from the public? Anyone online, Maddie?
Not seeing any hands online.
All right, Karen, do we have a motion?
Move to authorize the town manager to submit a charter amendment home rule petition to the legislature as presented in Article 9 of the 2025 subsequent town meeting, provided that no referendum on said Article 9 is filed pursuant to Section 2.15 of the town's charter prior to December 5th.
Second.
Second by Melissa. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 5-0. All right, moving on to 9 o'clock. Discuss and vote on procedure for town manager evaluation, page 68 of the packet. As a follow-up to that, obviously Matt is here. I received an update from Ivrea today that Matt is willing to extend the deadlines of his contract pertaining to the review and the renewal notice by 1 month. Matt noted, obviously it's a busy time for the department heads and just things to happen after the holidays. So Matt has suggested that the review be completed and discussed in open session by February 9th, 2026. And the renewal notice must be provided by February 16th, 2026. So that's where we're at on this scenario. Did you have any other follow-up, Matt, or this is amendable to you?
Yeah, no, that's fine with me. I did mention that to Ivrea. It's just, it's tough timing over the holidays. I know people go away. Also, department heads, as you see, you'll have to appoint some of them to be part of this. And it's a busy time of year for them with budgets and whatnot in the holidays. So extending it for another month is fine with me. I think it makes it easier for everybody, so.
Thank you, Matt. So Ivrea put that if the board was willing to, we could vote tonight to authorize the chair to negotiate and execute a 1-month extension because any extension should be in writing. I do not see that quasi on the agenda, but I don't think Ivrea would let me do it if it was not permissible.
I don't, that's, it's in an email to us.
Oh, that did get sent? Oh, all right. So that did get sent to the full board. The whole thing I just read.
Okay.
We have to take a vote on that. Well, it says vote on procedure.
I think we just have to vote on the extension.
Yeah, so this is discuss and vote on the procedure for the town manager evaluation. We are voting on the procedure to punt it to February.
This actually doesn't say vote on negotiate and vote on the extension of the town manager's contract. I think that's something different.
We did get an email from Ivrea.
But it's not posted on a public agenda.
I don't think that she would.
I believe I saw it, but it's not posted on a public agenda, and that is not what this line item is. But we have a meeting tomorrow night with, oh no, we can't post it for 40 hours. When's our next one? I don't have any objections to it. It is not on this agenda.
I think it's fine to vote on, but I mean, and I haven't been involved in all the conversations between you and Ivrea, obviously. She'll be on later tonight for the executive session that you're having, and maybe that's about this, I'm not sure. But I think it's, if you'd like, again, I'm fine with extending it. It's not extending the whole contract, it's just extending the dates. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the contract.
Because that's not what you just said. So if we're not, because I definitely think vote to extend, to authorize you to negotiate a 1-month extension of a contract is very different than vote to, as part of the process, to delay the evaluation by 1 month.
So I only say that not because I'm a lawyer, but Ivrea put it in the email to us.
Yeah,
I don't think she would allow.
I didn't ask her to review the agenda. I know what her.
She's hopping onto Zoom in a moment. So do you have to let her in, Matt?
Maddie can let, if Ivrea is on or in the moment, Maddie, please let her into the meeting.
So we'll give her a moment.
Yep.
I just admitted her.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Avria. So we're hung up on the authorizing the chair to negotiate that little blurb that you put in there about Matt's deadline thing. Karen's concerned that it wasn't on the agenda as written, but what is your take on this?
I think it's part of isn't it drafted on the agenda that it's something about process for performance review?
It's discuss and vote on procedure for town manager evaluation is how it's specifically worded.
Vote to authorize the chair to negotiate a contract.
Yeah, I'm comfortable that that's within the scope. I mean, this is all part of the process and the procedure around this, and Matt just shared this information and we were informed of it recently. So I think it's all within the scope. If there's a significant concern, we can definitely hold off on the vote tonight. I understand you have a select board meeting. Is it the 12th? Sorry? The 9th. It would take 5 minutes. You could just add it to that. So, you know, that's fine to put it on for the 9th.
How does everyone?
I think we should do that. I think to be safe, it's better to be safe.
Yeah, that's fine. If we're concerned that we may get a challenge, just to hold off on that, we can definitely push it to the 9th.
Melissa?
I don't think it's necessary. It says procedure. This is just part of the procedure of the evaluation of the town manager. I'm comfortable voting tonight. We're just pushing it 1 month. We have the agreement of the town manager. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I'm not voting to authorize the chair to negotiate a contract, but if we make it very specific, that we are.
So what we could do is, and this may appease everyone, is we could have Matt put the offer in writing that he could sign it, and then the board could just vote to endorse it at the next meeting.
It's very clean.
Yeah, that's fine as well. I wouldn't be extending contracts with Matt unilaterally. That's obviously nothing I would ever do. So, but if
I think the goal, as Matt explained it to me, was to just give everyone a little breathing room. It's a busy holiday season and there's a lot going on. So, you know, I don't want to put us in a compromised position. So if we can just kick it, it's easy enough.
Yep.
Sounds good. Great, thanks for offering.
Okay, so if that's the case, I'll put a request in writing to you, and you can vote on it next meeting. Is that the
9th?
Yeah.
The 9th? Yeah, fine. Yeah, happy to do that. Yep.
Perfect. Any comment from in the room? Anyone online, Maddie?
Yes, Angela Binda.
Go ahead, Angela. 2 minutes, name and address.
Thank you, Angela Bennett, 10 Orchard Park Drive. I agree with Ivrea that it should go into discussion for the December 9th meeting. It is not on the agenda for this evening, and I don't want it voted on at this time. Thank you.
Anybody else, Maddie?
No.
All right, so we don't, yes.
But is that the only thing you want to talk about for the procedure for the evaluation? Because it was, or are there some other items we want to talk about?
No, this was the only one relevant to that. This is just getting bumped until.
The thing about the 360 was in there?
No, this was the only thing that we were going to.
Okay.
Anything else?
This just came in today, though. That doesn't even make any sense.
What came into that?
The agenda was already set. We were going to have a discussion, then Matt made his offer, then we got that today. So what were we going to talk about before we got the letter?
The specifics of the 360.
Right, so that's what I just said. Do we want to talk about that?
Well, we have to then, the timing of that, and then we have to designate heads of departments.
Right.
And what Matt is saying, and what I think we're all agreeing to, is that December isn't the right time to do that. So let's do it in January.
Oh, well, okay.
That's my take. That's my understanding.
That's exactly, yeah.
I think the easy part is us picking the department heads. That's why I said, do you want to talk about it now? Them not having to complete it, I understand that's the work.
No.
But I'm just, that's why I thought we were going to do that.
Yeah, I think that it's best served at a subsequent meeting, given that, we can bump this out, how it was mentioned.
All right, thanks.
Okay. All right, so we don't have to vote on that. So 9:10, discuss peer communities, page 71 in the packet. So this came up because...
Sorry, Chair. Sorry to interrupt. Should I log off until 10 or did you want me to stay on, Chris?
Let's see.
We're gonna save the
Do things by the
taxpayers money.
minutes.
I vote we let her go have dinner or whatever.
So we have peer communities, that's probably meeting schedule liaison. All right, everybody, you probably got at least a half hour, I'd say.
Okay, great. I will see you guys later. Thank you.
I'll send you a text.
Read a bedtime story.
All right, so discuss peer communities, page 71 of the packet. So I know peer communities has come up multiple times in the past. I've always criticized the fact that we cite peer communities whenever we want to cite peer communities that would best serve our agenda for whatever we were doing, even if, there was converse ones that would not do it. And I just think that, so I didn't know the Finance Committee actually adopted this in 2013. So obviously we can't, vote for Finance Committee thing. But I think that we need to have this list updated and perhaps work in unison with the Finance Committee, obviously, on this, to update and modernize the list of peer communities. There's 23 listed in here. Perhaps there should be less, perhaps there should be more. There definitely should be some taken off. That's not just for us to decide, but I think lots of things play into this. And then this way here, for any board or committee going forward, if they want to cite, a peer community or use something, they have to kind of go over this list first and see, are they a peer community? And if so, all right, and, we can kind of go over things with this. So it's more of a board or committee thing. I know things got brought up at town meetings, citing scenarios. That can still happen because that isn't under our kind of purview. You know what I mean? Town meeting can do whatever they want for their communities, and they can continue to do so. But for any boards or committees under us, I'd like to kind of modernize this list where, it'll make sense for anybody going forward, whether it's, do we have people on here because of water rates, or are they just because they're a neighbor to us, similar size and scope? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know why Mansfield would be listed here, ever. Maybe there was a reason back in 2013, but I got nothing. Don't they have concerts out there? I don't even know what else Mansfield is known for. So that's kind of like why we need to, give this a refresher. I know the master plan committee, whatever, it does their refreshers, but I think since this is 2013, clearly we gotta update and modernize this. So that's kind of where we're at with this. Does anybody have any? Karen?
Yep, no, I think this is a great idea. And I agree, it's been over 10 years, so I'm not sure it's, I think it was something that the Finance Committee did, and I'm trying to think if I was on the Finance Committee at that time. But I don't think it's their exclusive purview, and I think collaborating with them is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's a little busy right now with budgets and stuff, but have you reached out to anybody on the Finance Committee to see if they have time to start thinking about it, or?
No, so I just wanted to see how this board kind of felt, and then we can kind of collab with, when we would ever have a joint meeting with them in the future. Maybe we have a pre-meeting, hash things out, what we believe are.
Financial forum. This could be a financial forum topic. Okay, I'm on board. Yep, it's time. Thank you.
Anybody else?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so for a forward object on this, Matt, if we can kind of set up a future agenda item and then reach out to the Finance Committee and see how they feel about collaborating on this in the future, and when we can kind of hash things out.
So they would attend that future meeting? Is that what you?
Yeah, or if, like you mentioned, the financial forum, do we have any of those before like June? Like, I think.
No, not really. They're getting into their budget schedule, so it's going to be mostly budget meetings. But
no, not during the budget time, obviously, but after the
budget time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, traditionally, I don't remember probably after town meeting, traditionally there would be a spring and fall. And it doesn't have to be a very long meeting, but we used to call it a forum.
Okay, yeah, I think it's a great idea.
So I see that they put in here that Stone Consulting in December of 2008 update. I don't think that we need like consultants and everything. I think that we
the
can.
first time they did it, I think. So,
I think that we can kind of hash this out, cross off a couple, add a couple on there, and then kind of, universally agree that we want to pull from these whenever we're citing water rates or some historical stuff, or just, that's pretty much it. Karen?
Yeah, so it's funny because once you start getting into this, then you're like, well, how are we going to define like water rates, things you started mentioning? If you start getting into that, you start actually getting a list. Matt, I was going to ask you, do you think our prior report that we probably paid for and recommendation might be somewhere?
Was it 2008? Probably. We can certainly look for it. Yeah.
Where'd you get 2008?
You said December 2008.
It's in the middle of the Pure Community Guideline.
Stone Consulting.
Paragraph starting with
I can certainly check the town manager folders.
It ain't taking 5 years to do this.
That's really old. Okay, I was thinking something was from 2013.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite dated now, but I can also check with the MMA and DOR and see if they have any guidelines regarding peer communities.
That would be great, because I think once we start talking about it, we're going to find out there were a whole bunch of metrics.
Right.
Yeah, I brought up water rates because only because we have second meters. Stoneham has second meters. Stoneham is a neighbor. So now we're checking off additional boxes of why they should be a peer community, because they're crossing all these kind of benchmarks.
Do they get their water from the MWR?
Correct, yeah.
But that's not the only thing, but.
Definitely not, but if that's why we have our discussion, Finance Committee, and if we end up on 17 peer communities, then that's what we end up on. So that's kind of.
So I was going to add, which is similar to what Karen was saying, is that there's a lot of different layers here. So I don't think we can compare ourselves to Natick, but Natick has MBTA, so and Creole. Do you know what I mean? So I think it might go a little deeper than we think it's going to go, because we may be a peer community with Natick and Mansfield has a train station. Well, do you know what I mean? Like, there could be other places that we're going to be peer communities and have similar things to, other than just financial.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
population, proximity.
Right.
MBTA is a good one. Do they have these kind of things?
I think once we start getting into it, it's going to get very granular.
Yeah, that's why I think that.
Which isn't a bad thing.
That's why I think that having at least this initial conversation, seeing where's spitballing all these kind of ideas, I think that, it's going to really refine down on why, because I can point out, like, obviously North Reading should be, but should they be? Obviously they're like right next to us. So like, they share the chamber. Nobody else is going to share the chamber with us, but like, we start going down this road of why, and, is North Reading a good peer community partner? We might share the animal control officer with them, like, all the knowledge that the five of us has, 9 on the finance committee, just come together on something.
Yeah, so, yeah, okay. Interesting, Melrose isn't even in there. Interesting.
Correct. So should they be? Possibly.
My guess is it's because, aren't they a city? Are they a city or a town?
Andover's a city, because.
Andover's not, though. It's by how their government is. I don't think Andover has a mayor. They have a town manager.
The town of
Yeah,
Andover.
I mean, I don't.
So
Andover's a town.
Yeah, it's a big difference in how their government runs.
That's obviously another reason for the peer community. They have open town meeting. Like, we can go over all this stuff. But to that point, they might not have been a city or a town back then in 2008 when this was done. Maybe now they are. So maybe there's some credence to that. So that's essentially it.
Works for me.
All right, anyone from the public? Yes, 2 minutes, name and address.
Yeah, good evening. Ryan Johnstone, Lowell Street and Precinct 7 meeting member. I agree. I think peer community should be updated. I just hesitate on two things I think for the board to consider as you're going over this. I would hesitate to move away from not using a consultant. I think a lot of things have already been brought up about how do we determine what's a peer community? And I think unless the board or the finance committee has expertise in that exact area and coming up with those type of comparisons, and if we do, great. If not, I would really encourage the use of a consultant. I think consultant was used and took them 5 years to come up with a list for a reason potentially. Be curious to see what Matt finds out and dig through those records. I'd also hesitate, I think, to the idea, I'd say it's very difficult for the idea that there's going to be a static list of peer communities for every aspect of town. I think, like you said, the idea of water rates versus historical communities, it's going to be hard for members who are trying to talk about water rates and people trying to talk about historical communities to look at the same list, grab one, and then start talking about what they're two doing, because those are two very different things. It's one thing for FinCom to come up with a list of peer communities for what their specific directed mission is. I think it's hard to say these are our peer communities and every ad hoc and standing committee under the town has to use this static list, unless that list is very well crafted to find. I think that could be hard. I think maybe the idea of a list of peer communities that should be considered could be out there, but I'd be hesitant and maybe hope the board would be open to the idea of to be considered, not mandated. Thank you.
Thank you. I would agree with obviously that it's not a mandate. Anybody can still cite however they have been doing things in the past, and there's always going to be niche scenarios. But I think that there's going to be at least a general guideline that we should be following, and finance committee and everybody else under us to kind of be on board, and with the understanding that it's not going to be perfect and not everyone's going to be on there, and we can say, why isn't Melrose on here? Maybe they should. I don't know if we want to pay a consultant in this kind of time, but Matt can kind of get the formula that they used way back in 2008, and then we can make the judgment call and see if it kind of holds up today, how they used it. That's kind of my mindset. I agree. Other things in town, we definitely want consultants on, but I think that, like I said, between the 5 of us, 9 members on FinCom, we're going to be able to really hash some stuff down to, and I don't see drastic changes happening. Maybe a couple off and a couple on, but in the grand scheme of things, I think that at least we need an update.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Anybody else from the public? Anyone online, Maddie?
Nobody online.
Thank you. All right, Matt, so you have go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so you have a task item on this just to kind of.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I was, before you move on to the next, or are you moving on to the next agenda item?
I would be after that.
Okay. I just want to speak on that before you do that.
On the peer communities?
Well, no. Peer communities, I'm fine. I was just going to suggest that we found out after that the item regarding the fire truck pricing does not need to be an executive session. It should be an open session. And I have here right now Chief Nelson and Kevin Mulvey, so I thought maybe you could take that out of order while they're here. And then the other business items is just board business and get to those. Pleasure of the board, but I just
think that we booted Ivrea off for a half hour, and she might, is she not part of this?
She wasn't going to be in the executive session on this?
Well, I mean, even if we had it in open session.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. How does everybody feel?
I'm fine.
I don't think
Take it out of order?
taking it out of order and not having Ivrea for this portion
Not
anyway.
going into executive session?
I don't think so. I don't know if you were on that email either that Matt just referenced, but I don't think that we should do it in an executive session. I would have voted against it, given some updated language from town
This would be
council.
something not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance.
No, it's just that litigation is a reason to go into executive session if litigation is going to be compromised or whatever. This is a class action suit, and it's just the beginning. So she felt, and I can send you her opinion on it. She had felt that it wouldn't be appropriate for executive session to be dealt with in open session, which is fine. I think they put it. I was out last week. I think they put it in executive session because litigation. You think executive session, but you have to really look at the
Yeah,
the
no,
law.
again, I'm not arguing with any of that. This is more like open meeting law. So, but it sounds like this was something
It is okay.
that wasn't, the fact that we're not going into executive session doesn't harm the public, and it was something we were not advised of more than 48 hours in advance. Like, I'm
Right.
thinking it falls under
Oh
that.
yes, sure, yeah.
That's
So you
all.
can do it.
That's all.
We
Okay.
checked. Yeah, you
Thank
can
you.
do it. So it's up to you. I'm just saying that we have people here. That's it.
Melissa.
Clarifying question. So if we were to go into executive session on this, Ivrea was not going to be there?
No, she wasn't going to be there. No, because she doesn't
Then I'm
know
fine.
really anything about it. It's an outside case. It would be outside attorneys handling it.
I'm okay.
So we'll have Kevin that represents one of the law firms.
So I guess if we could have a motion to just take this out of order, to take the discuss potential for joining City of La Crosse, that motion out of order.
So moved.
Second, if I need to.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, I'll take a roll call just in case, quasi-executive stuff. Karen Rose Gillis.
Yes.
Karen Herrick.
Yes.
Melissa Murphy.
Yes.
Carlo Bacci.
Yes.
And Chris Haley, yes. All right, so we will go to that portion of the meeting to discuss the potential. Who was going to end up presenting?
So I do have Kevin Mulvey here, who's going to come up and explain things. That's how I found out about this class action suit. I didn't really know anything about it. But Kevin, who's a Reading resident and who I had met before through other prior careers in Boston, had brought it to my attention, the chief's attention. They had a Zoom meeting on it with Jane as well, and it could be that Reading is suited to be involved in this case. It wouldn't cost anything to be part of the case, and we could get money out of it in the long run. So I thought it was worth pursuing and bringing to the board. Kevin and we can talk about globally what the case is about, as he's a lawyer and works with the plaintiff's counsel. So if I'm stating that right, Kevin? Yeah. And Chief Nelson is here, and he's in full agreement as well. As you know, we did buy a fire truck a couple of years ago, and it was delayed and priced pretty high. So.
All right, Kevin, go ahead.
For the record, my name is Kevin Mulvey. I live on Whittier Road. My wife and I have lived here since April of 2000. Raised our 4 boys here, all of which are graduates of the public school system, including the youngest this past June. Thank you.
Is the green thing on just?
It is.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for taking me out of order. Here to talk tonight about, as Matt had said, potential antitrust litigation where we think Reading could have standing to be a plaintiff in the action. Specifically, 3 of the largest manufacturers of fire trucks are accused only right now, of colluding together to artificially increase the price of fire trucks across the country. Every fire chief in the United States is aware of this. They're concerned about it. And again, allegations have been filed against the 3 largest manufacturers. The allegations center on the increased costs and the delay in which Reading, for example, was to receive their trucks. Specifically,
And we had to pay for it.
and pay for it. Specifically, well, with the last 10 years, costs have gone up at least twice as much as what they were prior to that, in some cases more. And the delay for the trucks, which normally were 12 to 18 months standard, are now upwards of 4 and sometimes 5 years or longer. It goes without saying, the impacts are obviously cost to the taxpayers, significant. This sweeps across the country, so we are talking about billions of dollars here. But more importantly, Chief Nelson and his colleagues, not only in Reading, but across the Commonwealth, across the country, are forced to utilize trucks that are 20, 25, 30 years old. I unfortunately have been educated on the number of horrific accidents that firefighters had to deal with. They deal with enough on a regular basis, and to deal with ladder trucks that don't work, brakes that don't work, accidents, you name it. Like I said, I've had an unfortunate education on all of that. The first lawsuit was filed in August of this year in Wisconsin. To date, there are 4 plaintiffs that have filed actions there. There are 2 plaintiffs that have filed here in Massachusetts, Revere, Mass, and as of today, Chelsea, Mass. Bringing me back to Reading, as Matt said, I brought this to his attention a few weeks ago. I had the great opportunity to talk to Jane about a week after. And then last Tuesday, I met with Chief and Jane, along with one of the lead attorneys, to go over the facts of the case, and particularly the facts as they relate to Reading. Came away not only impressed with the chief, Jane and Matt, but also with a firm belief that Reading does in fact have standing to proceed forward if you all decided you wanted to do it. What's to gain? Certainly a recoup to some degree of the money that the town had paid. I'm not in a position today to tell you what that could be. I'm not going to guess because that's wrong. We are very early in this matter, and there's an economist, probably more than one, that would have to be hired to do an analysis. It's not a simple back of the envelope calculation where we can argue that, you know, we paid this, we should have paid that. There are treble damages, you know, punitive damages involved, and there's a whole series of calculations that would have to go through because we are in fact talking about several thousand districts across the country, you know, and so it's a significant undertaking. More importantly, the complaint, or what Reading would have in its complaints, like it would mirror the other complaints, is a request for injunctive relief where we demand that the trucks get built and delivered in a more timely manner so the chief and his colleagues aren't asked or forced to deal with products that are really unsafe. Not every one of them, but as I said, the stories are horrific and there's no sense in putting the chief and his colleagues at further risk. Of note, this is all on a contingent basis, and the agreement that you'd have would basically state that you pay nothing, no attorney's fees or upfront costs until there's either a settlement or a successful verdict at trial. I do not believe any of this will go to trial. What's a risk? It's been asked of me, with everybody that I've talked to, are we not cutting our nose off in spite of our face when we have to go back to a manufacturer to try to purchase another vehicle because, as the chief knows better than anybody else in the room, there's a shelf life to these vehicles. And if history is a guide, that's really not, it's a very legitimate question, but it hasn't been proved to be an actual factual problem. We have an limited state where the Attorney General probably will not take too kindly on a defendant to double down on their bad behavior to take a retaliatory action against a plaintiff for seeking damages that they were, you know, rightly wrong. We also are not aware of any other action in the country where some defendant has taken the retaliatory action as well. Judges won't look kindly on this. So those are the highlights. Like I said, the lead attorney came away very impressed with not only the leadership in Reading, but the fact that you clearly qualify. The town has standing. So it's just a matter of the leadership in the town deciding what it should do. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Board members. Karen.
I think your hand went up first.
I saw Karen first. You know.
Thank you very much. Just for brief history, because I know nothing about fire trucks. You said there's only 3 companies that manufacture the fire trucks?
No, there are several manufacturers that manufacture fire trucks in the country. These 3 defendants are the biggest manufacturers. They make up at least 80% of the market.
Okay.
There are others, and each of these main defendants have, they manufacture and sell products by other names. So Seagrave, I believe, is what Reading buys, but there are a whole host of products that are with different names, but the majority of them are owned and operated by these 3 companies. I'm also remiss if I didn't mention either. The complaints in Massachusetts also name equity firms, private equity firms that own and operate these companies. If you were to read the Chelsea and Revere complaints, you would see direct quotes from CEOs stating that money is the priority. So let that resonate.
So if you read read things online and the equity companies own them, what are the chances of, all these litigations moving forward and those companies filing for bankruptcy and everybody being, and just wiping everything out and then you have to start from scratch or you go to some of the other companies? Do you know what I mean? Like there's that whole tactic of.
Yeah, no, it's a very fair question. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't, probably need a lawyer's with far more skill than I in bankruptcy and what that could mean and the likelihood of that happening. Again, I'm a fan of history. History is a guide that in matters like these, you don't see many of these defendants of this size and back like these companies are to file for bankruptcy and disappear. They may come back in a different form or fashion, but it's a great question. I don't have a real solid answer for you. I cannot tell you with certainty that would win. or
Oh,
the
yeah, no, I'm
settlement,
just
or if these folks.
thinking that the equity firms are gonna do everything they can to try and, minimize their losses. And
Oh.
so as far as, in the complaints filed so far, is it all three manufacturers that are being sued or just?
No, all three.
All three?
Yeah, they're on every complaint together. Yeah. And there may be additional defendants added as well.
So they can enjoin anybody as they go?
They can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Carla?
I guess my question was, piggyback on Karen, was in the packet, there's one company mentioned, correct?
I didn't see I'm just.
It says at all, so there could be more.
Oh, okay, that's what.
Yeah, so that's the agenda, and that's just the caption for the case. Kevin.
Okay.
That's a
Every-
short caption.
Yes, the question earlier, all of the defendants are named in every complaint. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Karen?
Yeah, there's a bit to unpack here, especially after our discussion of not having Ivrea involved in this conversation. It has not escaped my notice that it took us so long to get the last fire truck in that you can't even plan. You literally need to take delivery of a new fire truck and order the next one. It's insane, and we're very close. We have another fire truck on the capital plan, right? And I'm just shocked because most of COVID, we were like getting updates on the fire truck not being delivered, and now we have to order another one. Like literally, so that part's nuts, and I feel like we've been already hearing that even with the new fire truck, there's still a lot of out of service stuff, which isn't good. But part of my unpacking is understanding, like, you seem very familiar with this and you are an attorney, so your firm is involved with these other two cities and.
So, yes, I am an attorney. I'm not a litigator. My firm is not part of the team that would represent, for example, Reading, Chelsea, or Revere. No, my role is actually tonight, exactly, to utilize my contacts to seek out entities that might find this of interest.
Okay.
See if they have standing.
Okay.
Together with the attorneys and see if there's an opportunity to work together.
Okay, and so I have, there are more than one municipal attorney firms in the state of Massachusetts, so, and on other issues, I have suggested that maybe we go bring in, for instance, a real estate expert for certain real estate matters. So is this, from your perspective as a town manager, an opportunity to consider that we, as a select board, if we would like to do this, we would seek out a specialized firm to assist us with this?
This is already a filed class action lawsuit, so it's joining their suit is what it would be. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, just one thing on the law firms.
Yeah.
These are entities that have been existing for 20 or 30 years. This is their specialty. They have, in fact, and still represent hundreds of municipalities across the country, including here in the Commonwealth. So if you're looking for expert municipal law firms, the four that are leading this effort are in fact that.
Yeah, what I'm trying to unpack is, we've never done this before, so you mentioned, contingent basis, but you also mentioned we might have to hire an economist to measure material, financial damage, whatever. That makes sense. Do we do that at the beginning of the process, or we do that when like the class action is settled? When you get the little postcard in the mail, it says, go find your iPhone receipts and figure out how much you spent on iPhones. How much time and energy and money would Reading need to? I'm asking the question again. How much time and money and effort would Reading need to put forth?
Time is minimal because I think Reading's produced all the information that's needed to date, thanks to the chief, Jane, and Matt. Everything's on a continued basis, so if the economist is being hired, that cost is being borne by the law firms. And if there's no settlement or no verdict, Reading will never see a bill for any of it. Now, if there is a settlement or a verdict, then now those fees, and it's all clearly stated in the fee agreement, come out of the settlement. And again, I think there will be a settlement sometime down the road. So the fees and this will all be, documented on a monthly or, whatever the plaintiff would want, the client would want. But the the fees would be paid out of that settlement. So you're not out of pocket anything.
So the effort you would be anticipating for staff,
Mhm.
thank you for explaining that.
Right.
What would be the effort?
I don't,
you
I mean,
anticipate?
again, we're just at the beginning. I don't see a lot of effort. We have all the documentation, so it's not like we have a big request to put together discovery. We have everything regarding this last fire truck. The chief has been very cooperative and on board, and I don't think has spent a lot of time on this so far. So, I mean, there'd be some, effort with just dealing with the law firm, getting updates, seeing where we are. I mean, we were part of that opioid settlement as well, which is similar, not exactly the
We
same.
had to do something, take proactive action.
Yeah.
Part of that.
Yeah,
I think that was
believe.
pre-me.
Yeah, and we've gotten settlements from there. So again, the way it was presented to me is that if it's not going to cost the town any money, and we can get some money in the long run. And I know the frustration we went through with this last fire truck purchase because I was part of it with Fidel, and I know Fidel was very frustrated. That why should this happen again? So there's a little bit of a moral implication here as well. So that's why I figured bring it to the board. I did check with Ivrea on all this. It's the board's decision. It's not my decision. So you would have to decide probably at a later meeting whether you wanted to join this case or not. But I felt it incumbent on me to bring it to the board, having this information.
Okay, and just to confirm one more thing I think I heard from you. So we are in the process of needing to buy another fire truck, and there will be no punishment or no impact on that process?
Again, history is a guide, we haven't seen it. In this case or in other cases like this meaning other antitrust litigation matters. It is always possible that someone wants to take a action against Reading and not do business, but like I said, these three defendants dominate about 80% of the market. There are other manufacturers out there. I would be surprised if I was an attorney representing the defendants. I would be advising to not take retaliatory action. It is only going to double down and make our situation much, much, much worse. We live in a state where we've got a pretty aggressive attorney general. We have statute on the books called 93A. It could only make matters worse for the defendants. All that taken together, I cannot sit here and will not sit here and tell you that nothing bad could happen if you decided to join them. I'm just being honest. I think if I was a betting individual, I would say you'd not have to worry about that, but I can't guarantee it.
Okay, thank you, that's it.
Melissa?
Thank you so much for clarifying this. My only concern would be the retaliation, knowing that, we need one sooner rather than later and probably another one following that. So otherwise, I fully support going forward with this. To me, it makes complete sense.
To be honest, it's a question that has come up in every community I've talked to, and I've talked
Yeah, I'm
to
sure.
20 in the last couple of months, and
Yeah.
it's really the first question.
Yeah.
What do we face? What's the risk?
Especially
and it's a very legitimate question.
Yeah, no, especially if they own that much of the market.
Yeah.
But
And I'm not trying to be cavalier and dismiss it. I'm relying on the experience of these law firms that have done this many, many, many times over. And it makes sense why there wouldn't be, but I also understand the question of the risk. We have to buy new trucks and, there's only so many out there. But there are others out there that are not part of this litigation. So.
Okay. Yeah, I fully support us joining.
So I guess Chief Nelson, when do we have to get another truck, or do we already have a signed contract where then we're good for 5 or 10 years? Like, where do we stand with our process?
Okay. So the model that we use is a 20-year model per truck for our engines. So we have 4 engines, 2 that run daily and 2 that are backup pieces. So if one breaks down, or like tonight, our engine went over storm just to help with the fire just a little while ago, we have another truck to put in service. So the last engine that we ordered was in 2020, and we took delivery of that at the end of 2021. So just in November 14th, check my notes, November 14th, I signed a contract for a new Seagrave pump. So every 5 years. So 2020 we ordered, now 2025 we're ordering. So 2030 would be the next scheduled purchase of a vehicle. Unfortunately, this time it's a 1,500-day delivery. It's 4.1 years until we see the truck. So what I struggle with is, are we ordering the second one now so that it's now on time? That, this is a real problem. And whether you change manufacturers, time doesn't get that much better. You might save a little bit of money, but not a lot of money. The Seaguard product that we use is a superior product. And if these trucks have to last 20 years and now potentially 25 years, because if we don't order another one soon, they're all going to get pushed off 5 years if this continues. And now they're 25-year trucks. And that's a long time in these trucks. They get run really hard. The diesels, they don't like to sit and then go at 100 miles an hour, and that's what they do every day. They sit and then they go at 100 miles an hour. DPW does an excellent job keeping them running, but it is a problem. So to answer your question, we just ordered a truck now with anticipated delivery of 4.1 years. The next truck in the cycle will be 2030, fiscal year 2030.
I thought we just got a fire truck that got into an accident and all that. Didn't that just happen? Or
You're talking about a ladder truck?
Oh, so there's a difference.
Yeah, okay, so I was talking about engines. Now we have a ladder truck. That's a 15-year vehicle. It's a single resource, no backup truck. So that we just ordered, so what happened? There's a little bit of story behind that one. Maybe I'll just give you a quick summary. I did a little bit of history on this to kind of catch up. So we signed that contract in February 2022 for $1.36 million, and it had a 550-day delivery. So about a year and a half, which was about average. So that's 2022. In August of 2023, 555 days after we signed the contract, so we're supposed to have the truck. 5 days after we're supposed to have it, they reached out and said, oh, by the way, there's a material increase cost of $178,000. So that's what you're thinking about. So we had that request for $178 million. There was an agreement that was signed September 21st of 2023. There was some negotiations that went on. The Fidel did a great job. That got us an extended warranty and a parts voucher and things. But part of that was that they had to deliver the truck by May 31st, 2024. That's when they had to deliver it, with a $100 a day penalty after that. So the plan was then we would have the truck 846 days from the original contract. Well, May 31st came and went. Our delivery didn't actually come until December 5th. So we took delivery of that ladder truck 1,034 days into the contract, so more than double, or just about double what they promised. And it was 188 days less. And we paid an extra $180,000 for that truck.
Did we ding them the $100 a day penalty?
100%.
Oh,
And they
so
paid
we
it.
did.
They didn't blink, they paid it. They didn't fight us on it.
All right.
We did.
I like this.
Yep. We did. That was taken off the top.
Okay, perfect.
Where are they made?
So the Seagraves are made for the most part in Wisconsin. There's other manufacturers making it in Ohio. Most of it's out in the Midwest.
It's not like they're coming on a boat.
But some Pennsylvania. Say again?
They're not coming on a boat from somewhere. They're made in the U.S.
No, these are U.S. These are made in the U.S. I mean, there are European trucks, but they're not getting made and shipped over. The cost would be astronomically to ship.
Are the law firms doing the litigations local, or are they all from Wisconsin?
No, they are from scattered about the country. New York, New Jersey, Florida, Philadelphia, and San Francisco.
Okay.
With offices scattered.
If you want to learn a little bit more, I'll recommend maybe if you get about 65 minutes of time during the day, look up the September 10th this year, September 10th Senate hearing on it. There's a Senate hearing where they questioned some of the manufacturers and brought a lot of things to light, and it's pretty bothersome when I read it, and it's all about money according to that Senate hearing.
Yeah, there's an article in the International Fire and Safety Journal where Elizabeth Warren is saying we need to conduct a study of under the FTC Act to review business practices in the fire truck industry. So yeah, it's out there. Okay.
Yeah, this makes sense for me. I do remember the discussions with Fidel back then and the former chief as well. And it didn't sit right with me back then that all of these things would happen, and they used some loophole clause to be like, now you got to pay, otherwise, then we're screwed. So it didn't sit well with me, and I'm glad that we would be able to hold some people accountable. It seems as if this is a brilliant business venture to get into if you can provide trucks with, with 3-year dates like everyone would get from you. I don't know what prevents anyone from doing that. Probably money and connections, I guess. No, I'm on board with this. I know we're not voting tonight, but, we'll have it on a subsequent select meeting.
Kevin, do you know how, in terms of the time frame with the law firms, how soon they need an answer from us just so we can gauge future meetings?
The class hasn't been certified yet. Like I said, here, there are 4 plaintiffs in Wisconsin. There are 2 here, including Fidel Chelsea was filed today. I think the objective is to get a few more in Massachusetts. Coming up later, I think it's in January, there'll be meetings about, where the actual case is going to be litigated. Wisconsin, Massachusetts, there's a panel, a judicial panel that will determine. It could go anywhere in the country. We're trying to get as many communities signed on as possible. I would say the sooner the later, but I also understand Reading and everybody else has to do their due diligence to determine if this is the right thing to do, and if so, going through the proper procedures to do it.
Okay. Carlo?
To piggyback on that, thanks. Is there a hard deadline?
No, there isn't. No, there is not.
Okay.
So I guess what's the sentiment of the board? Are we all in agreement with this, where I can have this on a future agenda item that's going to take 2 seconds so we can get it done this month, or how does everyone feel?
I think we should move forward with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
All right, so on whatever RCTV follow-up agenda item that we're going to do, just piggyback this one on, Matt, for a vote.
Okay.
All right, anybody from the public have any questions for anybody? Anybody online, Maddie?
I don't see any hands raised.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll get this wrapped up by the end of the month.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chief. Thanks, Kevin. Good to see you.
All right, so we took that out of order, so now we are back to review the meetings, 2026 meeting schedule, page 72 in the packet. We have a meeting schedule. Does anyone want to cut half the meetings off the meeting schedule?
Sorry, let me get to that.
Make the packet smaller.
Looks normal to me.
I mean, everything seems pretty straightforward how we've always done things.
Yeah,
we
we
haven't
just-
added any special stuff, Matt.
No, we just took what we had from prior years just to give an outline. It's not all set in stone. A lot of them just regular agenda items anyway, and tried to plug in, if there were things that we knew that were recurring. But it's more the dates that we were looking at. If there were real problems with the date or a couple dates that would have to move, it's better to know that up front. Not so much the agenda items. So.
Melissa.
I would just like to confirm, we've checked these dates are not holidays in any sort.
I believe so. Maddie, are you on?
I don't have my phone or I would do it now.
Yep, Jackie and I confirmed that these are not holidays.
Okay, great.
Okay, yeah, so they did do that.
That would be my only comment. Thank you.
Anyone else? Karen?
And we talked earlier tonight about, because we're, the procedure for the town manager evaluation is getting pushed out a month. I thought we said 2 meetings, maybe it was the 10th and the other was the 18th in February. So do we need to add one here?
So we need to complete and discuss an open session by February 9th. And then we must provide a notice if we're going to renew by February 16th.
We mess with the month extension?
Yes, those are the dates with the extension, so the 9th and 16th. So we have a board meeting on the 10th, obviously that would not work in those scenarios. Well, the 9th scenario would work.
We could say the 10th instead of the 9th. It's only a day. I mean, if it meets the meeting schedule, doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I can put that in my email.
So now we'll adjust the date from the 9th to the 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we solved that.
Okay.
Karen, did you have anything? No? I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, so I mean, all these things look great to me until they're not.
Elections on the 7th.
So
Are there any other elections in this year?
There is a state
September,
one in,
November?
yeah.
Okay.
Carla, we cut half the meetings off in 26.
Yes. No summer meetings.
Karen Rose get a second. Oh, you're gone.
So we put a town election on, okay, so we don't put state elections on this, we just put a town elect? We
Correct.
don't have. Okay. Well, I think we are talking about, and good, Carlos back. We're talking about CPA next November?
So far, yes.
So does that mean we're having a town election?
I think it would fall on the state election.
It'd be the state election.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
okay.
So I think I'm going to put something on on April town meeting regarding the CPA going to the voters.
Yeah, I'll be giving you a liaison report.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the schedule. There's elections identified on the schedule. I mean, sorry, not elections. Sorry, I guess I'm getting tired. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
it's getting late.
It's 9:55.
All right, anyone in the public have an issue with our meeting schedule? Anyone online, Maddie?
No hands raised online.
Perfect.
So we're not adding stuff to this right now, we're just reviewing it.
Correct.
Just the dates,
Why don't we
making
just
sure
go
the
ahead and like
dates were
knock
okay.
one off of August right now? I move to.
Yeah, we can do it in August.
You have 2 in August?
See? Move to strike August 18th because it's
Okay.
really busy.
Yeah, we can just take it off, yeah.
Just take it
You
off.
can always add it back in.
Yeah, no, we'll
Which
take
one
it
are we
off.
knocking off?
August 18th, she said. Is
I
it-
agree, one a month in the summer,
Just fold it
July
in.
and August.
Just fold it in.
Fold it in.
Fold it.
All right, August 18th is coming off.
Yep, so Maddie will make a note of
One
that.
in July. Oh, it's.
Let's get rid of that one too.
Okay.
Someone's good with me.
All right, well, we knocked one off.
There we go.
Oh, we've already opened it up.
Well, I gotta make sure one's done on my birthday, hold on.
Come on, we'll
I
bring
don't think
cake.
it matters.
No, we're good.
State election on September. Yeah, we don't have
Okay,
those.
so our meeting is the 4th, so all right, thank you.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Okay,
All right, so we got knocked off the one August one.
good, yeah, we'll make that adjustment.
All right. Moving on to select board liaison reports. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. I have a short one.
Let's go ahead.
I have a very short list. We had 3 nights, or I attended 3 nights of town meeting. I just could not attend the 4th night of town meeting. And they were all fairly long nights. I was able to attend the Veterans Day celebration and read the proclamation, which was a great event, as always. And I attended the Brad Jones annual Thanksgiving dinner that he puts on for the seniors at Teresa's in North Reading this year. It was a fabulous event. I was glad I was able to attend. And I have been in the trenches of RCTV contracts otherwise. So that's really all I have for liaison reports this meeting.
Perfect.
Trenches, yeah.
Karen, did you have one?
It's very brief.
I like brief, especially at 9:58.
Mostly town meeting.
Yes.
And I attended the Council on Aging meeting on the 19th, and my line is blank. And I had to leave early because I had another meeting, which was the ACE meeting, which they discussed the stuff they presented here. Affordable Housing Trust meeting on the same night, which was a quick meeting. We voted to endorse the CPA. And I had a Housing Authority meeting today, but I'll let Karen go over it.
Oh.
They discussed several projects in process, ARPA funding, tree trimming contracts, water tank replacement, heat pumps. They got a $440,000 award to replace the heating pump in one of their facilities. So it was really good. Yeah. That's it.
Karen, did you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. And yeah, so while that's fresh in my mind, so I believe there might be some opportunities for them
and green communities as well, because one of their members is a very experienced housing authority person. And when I reminded them, and as soon as I saw our heat pump, I said, oh, you know, anyway, so they may be reaching out to Jane or you. And what was, as well, also, I'm not sure if they're plugged into the federal heat pump credits, and they have a heat pump project that's just about done. I don't know if there's an opportunity for them to get it, but I think you've mentioned that we've hired a consultant to help us do the tax stuff. So they might reach out about that.
Okay.
So thank you. Yep. Great. Yeah, so it's good to see anyway that our housing, our renting housing authority converting over and making things more energy efficient. And yay. Okay, so so Thanksgiving dinner sponsored by Brad Jones and Rich Haggerty was awesome. And that was great. So nice to do all that embarrassing dancing, and but everyone had a wonderful time, and Mrs. Jones, Linda Jones, does an amazing job organizing it every year, and was telling her that we are working on recal, and so that we could potentially have it there in a year or so, maybe next year. Yes, town meeting, 3 nights as well. And what else did you do? Something else that you were,
Veterans?
Yes, Veterans Day. Thank you. Our Will Valier, fabulous job. It was really, really cold.
Nice.
And yes, that was a very, very nice event for Veterans Day. Thank you.
Carlo.
All right, mine's pretty similar. I attended the Veterans Day event as well. Was well attended despite the cold, surprisingly. And also thank you to Brad Jones and Rich Haggerty, state reps, on another successful event for our running seniors. I think it was 175 or so attendees there with a good MC, a lot of dancing. And so last night, of course, town meeting. That was tons of fun. And CPA. So CPA update is we met last night, and we're meeting again in a couple of weeks. And basically, a lot of presentations have been made to boards and committees. They'll be coming in front of us on early 26 to get on the warrant for a town meeting, and then subsequently election in November. And I kind of, on my personal notes, I just raised some concerns of, unfortunately bad timing with the override coming, but this is a liaison report. So CPA's been working really hard, and then with there's a nice flyer out there, and we went over the whole, I forget how many pages of the report. That's very lengthy, that we kind of adapted from Natick, and just inserted the word writing and made our changes that are for us specifically. So that's still in progress. I think we're gonna try to finalize that at the next meeting. And, they were at town meeting. There was a table at town meeting for CPA. They were at the Fall Street Fair. A lot of outreach. And then we voted on 1% last night as well. I guess I should have led with that. So we voted on 1%. We voted on the exemptions. And so that was good. We finally formalized that. That was a long time coming. And then we're going to finalize our report over the next couple of meetings. So when they come in early winter, it will be as brief and concise and to the point as possible, so there'll be less questions.
Thank you. For me, same thing. Thank you to Brad Jones and Rich Haggerty for putting on the Thanksgiving event for the seniors. It's the 3rd or 4th year that I've taken my youngest daughter, Savannah, to. She's more of a hit than I am, which is, good for all of them to be, dancing and energizing with her instead of me, because I don't do any of that. The Veterans Day event, obviously, what Will put on, it was extremely cold. Like colder than today. I don't know how that's possible, but everybody toughed it out, and I really appreciate for everything that our veterans do, as well as Will and everyone else that came out that day. I attended the tree lighting event the other day. Even with the rain and everything that happened, there was a ton of people. I mean, when I first got there, just seeing kind of mishmash of just a half dozen people in front of the town common area, but right at like 4:15 or whatever, it just was packed. So a lot of people still enjoyed the event even with the rain. And then I think Matt might have mentioned this earlier, but Shop the Block is this Thursday. So make sure everybody gets downtown between 5 and 9 or something. Yep. So yeah, lots going on, and shop local for sure. And that's all I got. So moving on to 9:50 approved 2 sets of meeting minutes, page 81 in the packet. I will lead off. I had 0 changes.
I also had no changes.
What about future agendas?
I skipped that because I somehow skipped that. So we'll go to future agendas real quick. I think that we did, so the ACE committee extension, truck scenario.
Right.
And
RCTV.
and I didn't have anything else to add.
Do you want me to do a doodle poll for, so that date, you can't make the 16th?
I'm not sure how we're going to have to handle it.
Okay.
We got to see with RCTV's scenario what other meetings are available.
Okay.
She can't do the 12th, right?
No,
Or 16th. You can't do the 16th, so
And we're not doing the 9th. It's too soon? It's
I
next
think
week.
so, right?
That's next week.
Like,
So we have budget meetings that night. I mean, you could meet before that if you wanted to.
That might be risky.
Yeah.
What, my only slight hesitation is how I think the edits or changes that we have for the agreement are pretty minor, but
Yeah.
I feel like we have to talk as a negotiation committee and then get it off to the lawyers. So
Okay.
I do
I mean,
think we might want to go past the 9th.
Okay.
but I-
It's whenever.
I
We're all
unfortunately
aware of the
can't make
deadline,
16th.
so
I
Yeah.
apologize. I
yeah,
didn't
as
have
long
it
as
on my
it's not New
calendar.
Year's Eve. Yeah. So, okay. We'll play.
so
it by
we'll
ear.
we'll play it by ear, Matt.
Okay. We can play it by ear.
Any other future agenda items?
Yeah.
Karen?
Yes. Discuss creating the Disabilities Commission? Or
Sure.
create it, or create it?
Yeah, it'll get passed to town meeting, so talk about creating it, sure. Yep.
Did it get posted? I talked to Laura about it. I already had 2
I know
residents.
there are people that are interested already, yeah.
She just said that she had to wait, I think, 7 days after town
Yeah,
meeting.
we did have to wait a little bit,
post it.
so
And
I'll
then
double check, see if it's posted, but yeah.
I believe, it's my understanding, it will come to VASC, so Karen and I maybe could schedule VASC
Yeah.
meetings for January.
Yeah, I think we should put it to VASC.
Carla?
I don't know if it's a future agenda or just an update, but master plan committee has fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, so that was with CPDC. Obviously, we had crazy stuff going on, and then town meeting just got over. So I'll revisit that with Heather and see what we can do about getting this hammered out for the future.
Okay.
Yep. Anyone else? Moving on to meeting minutes. I still have no changes. Page 81 of the packet.
I'm good.
I sent in something earlier, Maddie.
Yep, I have the 10:27 minutes up now with the one edit that you had sent for this one.
And that's it?
Yes.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Do you have a motion then, Karen?
This is October 27th, right?
27th and then November 4th. Oh, did you have another change on the other one?
I did.
Oh. Do you want to just bring that up then, Maddie, real quick?
Yep.
This is just tricky. It would be so much easier if we just summarized, but those weren't my words, so it didn't feel right.
I'm sorry, Maddie, can you just go up one more second? I didn't finish.
Yeah, sorry.
Nope, no worries. My slow reading.
I guess my only question on that is, obviously I didn't have time to look, but Karen, you were saying that you did say what's in the red now, the edits.
Yeah, the part that's crossed out, I was like, I mean, the sentiment is there, but if this was just summarized, none of that paragraph would be there. But I was like, if we're gonna get into like details, then it needs to sort of look like what I said.
I guess I'm fine with it, even sort of looking like what you said. It doesn't seem any.
I agree, it doesn't really seem any different, but I'm good with it.
I'm fine with it.
All right, Maddie, do you want to move down? You said there was another one.
And no, I might have sent you a little typo with an extra space between com and promise.
Oh, that's okay. I just copied and pasted, so
Yeah,
sorry.
it's probably me, sorry.
I don't have a problem with it.
Anything else, Maddie?
No, I believe that's the last one.
All right, Karen, could I get a motion for both amended?
Move to approve the meeting minutes of October 27th, 2025 as amended.
Second.
Seconded by Karen Herrick. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 5-0. Next.
Move to approve the meeting minutes of November 4th, 2025 as amended.
Second.
Seconded by Karen Herrick. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 5-0. All right, moving on to 10:05 executive session. Karen, did you have a motion for that?
Motion to enter into executive session pursuant to GL Chapter 30A, Section 21, parentheses A and parentheses 2, to conduct a strategy session in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, Town Manager Canellis, to invite Town Council and Executive Assistant Maddie Baptiste into the executive session and to adjourn from the executive session and not return to open session.
So a friendly amendment to that, we would remove Maddie from it. Ivrea is going to take minutes for it.
So am I reading the whole thing over again?
Well, no, okay. Just
move to remove Maddie Baptiste from the executive session and add Ivrea.
She's already there. It's just striking that out.
Oh, okay.
Second. I think.
I don't.
Well, it's a friendly amendment, so I think it's okay, and maybe we just say, move to accept it as amended?
Yeah.
Move to accept it as amended.
Second.
All right. Roll call vote. Karen Rose Gillis.
Yes.
Karen Herrick.
Yes.
Melissa Murphy.
Yes.
Carlo Bacci.
Yes.
And Chris Haley, yes.